Yes, that's right. Back by popular demand. Well, back by a deafening silence that we took to be a reasonable demand that you were all just too polite to make. It's the inevitably nonsensical, yet hopefully enjoyable, After Movie Diner Season 2. Like all good sequels, in Season 2, you can expect us to ramp up the action, gore, expletives, gratuitous mentions of Donald Pleasance, and, of course, the requisite nudity. So, when you hear this noise,
and the eggs, please.
Remove your first item of clothing and make it something good, not just a sock or a polka dot neckerchief or something. If you enjoy the show and have pursued the recommended treatment from your medical providers, why not support the show on Patreon over at patreon.com/After Movie Diner. You can also donate to the show directly at aftermoviediner.com. Rate and review the show wherever podcasts are found, and rating and reviewing is possible. Even a 1-star review provides useful insights on exactly the sort of petty-minded and wretched individual who negatively reviews free entertainment they do not need to be consuming. So, without further dribbling, please put down your lemon meringues, silence your bowels, and rub 2 nearby dogs together for the one, the only, John Cross.
And here we are. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. We're non-denominational and all-denominational here at Two Middle-Aged Men Watch 90s Era Jim Belushi Films. As always, with me, my co-host, the wonderful Matt Perea. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very good. And I just realized I covered my desk in things for the show because I was rushing because I'd just been down the pub and I was like, well, shoot, I'm going to need stuff. So I got drinks, I got snacks, I've got British disco crisps. These are,
I like that.
Oh, these are fantastic.
Yeah.
I went down to UK Gourmet in Bethel, Connecticut over the weekend and picked up a bunch of British snacks.
Nice.
I have my requisite Belushi VHS.
Oh, yes. Look at the stack there. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Well, you see, it's a good totem. I feel like it's, it's good vibes, good mojo, good voodoo, whatever you want to call it. So I was getting this already, and then I suddenly realized, well, this is sort of our Christmas episode, and I'm not, I should have a Christmas hat on or something like that. You can see my skeleton on the
Nice.
keyboard in the background. He has a Christmas hat on,
Nice.
but I'm not wearing it. You are, however, wearing the patron saint of Christmas, the Moxie outfit.
The Moxie hat, yes. It's interesting. I've got a Philly shirt on, and it looks, I think from the light that's overhead, it makes it look more orange, but it's red. It's
I thought you were head to toe in Moxie. I thought you were Moxieing it up tonight.
Yes, my red Philly shirt, and for some reason it looks orange. I think it's just because I got the light above me here. I probably need one of those ring lights that kind of comes directly towards me or something like that.
But it's fantastic. What an exciting week we've had. Because not even an exciting week, an exciting 2 days. The last 2 days. What a 2 days it has been. We have had none other than the, I'm going to say endorsement, Matt, which is not really what we've had, but I'm taking it as an endorsement.
Right.
We have had an official endorsement by the Belushi himself.
Yes.
By Jim Belushi himself, we have an official endorsement. He has liked and commented on both of our recent posts about this very show, including a comment about a couple of spilt milks or something, which I believe is in reference to this film. Sean Malloy has joined us in the chat. Says, always glad to see Belushi get the appreciation he deserves. I agree.
Oh, Sean Malloy, yes.
I agree, Sean. Yes, Belushi deserves much more appreciation than he gets. If anything, this odyssey, and I'm going to call it an odyssey, Matt, because I feel like we're going to come across sirens and a cyclops and a fighting the skeletons of the past, Matt. We're going to be fighting the skeletons of the
The
past.
siren song of Linda Hamilton and Lorraine Bracco. Yes.
Yeah. As we go on this odyssey on the good ship Belushi, one of our things has been to explore just how diverse and rich his back catalog of films are and how they need to be reappreciated. So I'm glad, Sean, you are joining us this evening. Very welcome. Glad to have you with us. The 90s, the according to Jim Belushi era, what a phenomenal array of genres and characters that he takes. And in fact, we had a Brazilian fan of Belushi comment on the Instagram exactly that, about the diversity of the film roles that Belushi picked. Tagged us in a post, put it on his story. Thankfully, Instagram has translation, so I was able to translate what I assume is the Portuguese, right? Brazil?
Yeah. Brazil, yeah. Yeah.
I was able to translate the Portuguese and learn what he was saying. And essentially he was saying just the diversity of roles and the fact that Belushi should be much better appreciated. And so that's wonderful. In fact, Matt, it will be my dream to travel to Oregon, which is now the land of Belushi. It used to be Chicago. Now he's decamped to Oregon. And to try a Belushi gummy.
Yes.
I feel like if we continue this show for another year or two, you and we should live stream a road trip.
Yes, to Oregon.
To Oregon to pick up a Belushi gummy. I know he sells his gummies also to California. Mm-hmm. And I think does Illinois now allow weed?
It does. I believe Illinois is another state that is legalized marijuana.
I think because of the whole Blues Brothers connect, because he has his little Blues Brothers branded pot stuff. Oh, yeah. I think that you can now get that in Illinois as well. So maybe we don't have to drive to Oregon, although I feel like a cross-country road trip. Maybe we stop in Illinois, sample the weed there, and then move on to Oregon.
Yeah.
And my wife's just like, wait, what? You're going to be gone for 10 days? Yeah. Matt and I are going to be gone for 10 days. And what are you doing? We're driving from Belushi dispensary to Belushi dispensary.
Exactly right. I mean, I'm trying to think because the middle of the country, I think, like weed, like for example, here in Pennsylvania, marijuana is not recreational is not legal, but medical is. Right. But New Jersey, New York, of course, it's legal now. Ohio, recreational, I think, was just made legal in Ohio. So it's like
Ohio might actually become worth living in. Then I'm sorry, how mean I am. I had one bad experience in Ohio 15 years ago, and I've never forgiven Ohio for it. Anyway, sorry, carry on, man.
No, the only time I've ever been to Ohio was my friends. One was a bio major, the other was an environmental science major. They had to go to the Creationism Museum in northern Kentucky on the border there, and so we stayed in Cincinnati, and then we had to see. They wanted to ride on the Triceratops. They were just completely. It was like one of those things. And for me, it was like the scariest thing ever. It was like,
the dinosaurs weren't mentioned in the Bible. There's no, and then
as far as they're concerned,
got it on underneath the belly of a Triceratops.
They have a whole explanation. It's the way that they've retconned dinosaurs into the Bible. It would make Vin Diesel jealous with the way he was able to retcon, himself into the third, the whole with the Tokyo Drift and all that stuff. Like that's essentially what they've done with dinosaurs. It is utterly fascinating. Yeah.
Well, but I feel like that's all things now. Like I think because all films are becoming franchises, you can't just have a, and I think that's where the other thing that I love, although you have the Canine franchise, which I will forever support. What I love about the Belushi catalog is that it's mostly standalone movies. There aren't a lot of these long, winding, ridiculous franchises where, like you say, they get to the fourth or fifth part and then they have to retcon some backstory that didn't exist before. I mean, Fast and Furious X or Fast X or whatever, that was just, that was that was jaw agape, staggering retconning of an incredible level. And listen, I'm here for it when it comes to Fast and Furious franchise. When it comes to anything else, I'm like, just stop. But I think, listen, whoever's out there, Belushi, get your agent on this. We want Belushi in Fast X Part 2 because I think with his history in action, or at least on the fringes of the action thriller genre. He has earned his place in the Fast and Furious franchise. Don't you agree, Matt?
I absolutely, and I also think with this whole like the fact that essentially Vin Diesel and his crew are like James Bonds, or they're like spies and stuff like that. That his work in Royce, they could retcon Royce into the Fast and Furious universe.
Definitely retcon Royce. I mean, who doesn't want to see this guy right here? Look, come on, explosions, all sorts of stuff happening. Come on, who doesn't want that?
Well, because I think Han's character actually comes from a movie that Justin Lin did before Fast and Furious, where he had the actor what was it Sung Hong? I can't remember his name.
I think so. Yes, he was also in the Walter Hill Stallone Bullet and Head joint.
That's right. He was in that one too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they actually took his character from. They actually said that's official canon, I guess, Fast and Furious canon. But that character from that movie that Justin Lin did, was sort of like a sort of an Asian American kind of like different characters, kind of not really an action movie, but essentially they said that character is Han. It's the same Han. So they've taken characters from other movies and said that's who they are, so they could have Royce in there. And
of course, and I haven't asked your friends over the Exploding Helicopter podcast, but this is one of the few, it's not the only one obviously, but it's one of the few where the exploding helicopter is right there on the front cover. It promises exploding helicopters on the front cover and an enormous giant Belushi just nonchalantly crossing his arms in the foreground while shit just blows. They've got a train exploding. You got a helicopter exploding. It's fantastic. And
also, I did that movie on Will, the Exploding Helicopter Show. And he mentioned that the helicopter they use actually is a unique one that they almost never use in movies for helicopter explosion. So it's actually a unique one. That's the movie that got me sort of a reappreciation for Belushi, because I went into the movie being like, all right, according to Jim as James Bond, this is going to be hilarious. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, wait a second, this is not according to Jim. This guy is like good.
This is free according to Jim.
Right. Yes. I'm like, we were talking about this, that like he's like the anti-Feldman, right? That like Corey Feldman. When you see Corey Feldman on the tin, you think like Goonies, License to Drive, all this stuff, and like, oh, this is gonna be a fun time. And then you watch it, and you're like, this isn't what I was expecting.
Feldman had the benefit as a kid actor of being plopped into some movies that have become quite rightly so classics.
Yeah,
and I think he worked very well in an ensemble. Yeah. But when you boiled Corey Feldman down to either just him or him and Haim, and Haim was just unbearable to watch. But him and Haim as like a double. When you start to like try and I just watched Edge of Honor? Edge of Honor with him and Meredith Salinger.
Yeah.
And much like Belushi, Meredith Salinger commented and liked my post on Edge of Honor, where my whole point with Edge of Honor is if you are expecting to have Feldman shoulder the entire burden,
right?
Because all the kids around Feldman in that movie, because Salinger doesn't show up until really the third act.
Yeah.
But all the kids around him are like they're just bland nobodies. There's no characters. There's no, there's no interest. There's no conflict. There's no, they're just a bunch of kids, basically, very nondescript. And, Feldman is the only one attempting to kind of do anything, but this was Feldman in between two relapses with heroin, and he was clean just for the movie shoot, and it was a whole thing. And, there was clearly a lot of distractions. But if you're expecting to put your whole movie on the back of Feldman, it's not going to be a good time. However, you can put your movie on the back of Belushi every single time. It is a winner out the gate. Every single time you put Belushi leading the movie, I'm telling you right now. But he also quintessential double act fodder as well.
Yes.
Tremendous double act with John Ritter. Would have loved to have seen a Real Men follow-up. And of course, Arnie. And I love it. You've got Schwarzenegger, obviously, a lot more real estate on the cover here. Schwarzenegger, and they're like, Belushi.
So it's like a pyramid almost, right? Like it's like Schwarzenegger, Red Heat, and it's like kind of slowly shrink. It's like an inverted pyramid, right?
Yeah. But that's the thing is you could rely on Belushi. That's why he's the anti-Feldman. You know, when you see Feldman, I want him to be in an ensemble with a lot of other cool guys, because otherwise it's not going to be as good.
Yeah. Well, and also with Belushi, like we found with some of these movies, is that they start off maybe you're not sure what you're going to get out of them, but there's always this like Belushi is like that striker that like in a football match who like you know, for the first 75 minutes he's just kind of loafing around the field and you don't really know what he's doing. All of a sudden he gets a header and wins the game, and like the whole fans are crazy and all this stuff. And of course for the next 2 weeks that between games everybody's talking about how amazing he is, and then the next game it's like, where's Belushi? What's Belushi doing? You know, and he's just there acting, he's doing his Belushi thing, and then it's like
his Belushi thing,
and then suddenly boom, he just another header, another bicycle kick or something like that, and it's another winner.
Well, I think one of my favorite clips. Hang on a second. Kyle has been commenting this whole time, and I feel like
he
we
gave
need
us
to bring it up.
Belushosaurus about
Belushosaurus waves his tiny arms like pool noodles. Rah! I am Belushosaurus Rex. And he said, "Do you think Schwarzenegger and Belushi had a dick measuring contest on the set of Red Heat?" All I know is this: is that Schwarzenegger did a ton of weightlifting enhancement supplements. I'm just going to call them supplements. And one of the side effects of so-called supplements is the shrinkage of the male genitalia. That's all I'm listen, this is hypothesis, allegedly. I'm just saying. And therefore, if such a legendary dick measuring contest had taken place, I feel like the first son of Albania, which I'm going to call Jim Belushi the first son. I'm just giving him that title. Yes. But the first son of Albania, I think he won that hands down.
Well, the other thing I want to point out as well is that Red Heat would have been a more svelte Belushi. Is again according to Jim Belushi, right? Whereas you know, for according to Jim, he had to really get that belly out there so he could be like on the couch and yelling at Courtney Thorne-Smith and all that stuff. At the you know, Red Heat, he's much more svelte, so there isn't going to be as much like paunch. What would obscurement?
Obscurement or coverage of the genital area. I don't want to think. To be honest, Carl, I think you've taken us down a male genitalia-based conversation that I'm not necessarily 100% willing to have. Go with love, everyone who wants to have that conversation. I just don't necessarily want to be thinking of. Kyle is particularly obsessed tonight. He said, "Who has the biggest dong in 80s flicks?" And I bet Louis Gossett Jr. is packing. Well,
I'm sure Dolph Lundgren would be able to tell us, right?
Belushi would also be able to tell us from the phenomenal Principle, which we must get around to doing. Because that's why it's, by the way, everyone, it's 90s era. And I say era because we can kind of go 5 years either side, right? Yeah. So we can smush into the 2000s and we can smush into the late 80s. It's 90s era. It's sort of anything according to Jim. That's kind of what we're talking about. But so we could do The Principle, which is a phenomenal film. But I think that Gossett Jr. and Belushi probably too much of a gentleman to get into such a pissing contest, I feel like.
I think they're the two guys that would have gone to the pub or bar to drink, maybe, went outside as they were leaving and both decided to relieve themselves on the streets and would not venture a glance in each other's direction, but more like do the straight ahead talking and like whatever, like very casually, like not even really caring that
eyes straight ahead,
just like, hey, what a great night tonight. Oh yeah, we got to read those scenes tomorrow. Okay, I'm really wondering about how I'm going to do this one scene. That for sure, and
a poster for the Punisher on one side. The poster for K9 was after the Principle, right? So was Real Men before The Principle?
Oh, good question.
Bring up to IMDb, Matt. And with all
yes, I've got him up on IMDb. The only thing is I didn't expand him, so right now I'm stuck on 2016.
You always have to expand.
Got to do the expand. Yeah, you got to expand.
The Belushi expansion pack is required
exactly
for proper IMDb knowledge.
Where is the principal? Let's see here.
It's late 80s, right? The principal.
Yeah, so there's separate lives. Yeah, I've got a little ways to go here. Okay, here we are. So the principal was 87. So actually, a lot of stuff was was after that.
Right.
So maybe I was going to say taking care of business, but even taking care of business is post.
Yeah, that's later. That's 88, 89.
Yeah, that's 90. Yeah. So yeah, who's Harry Crumb was 89. Yeah. So I mean, he would have been like talking about Jumpin' Jack Flash, I guess. So
his cameo in Whoopi Goldberg's Jumpin' Jack Flash. When was Homer and Eddie?
Oh boy, let's see here.
Because I have that.
Homer and Eddie, I think, also looks like. Oh, Homer and Eddie was just after the principal. So it was a year after, or 2 years after. 89 was Homer and Eddie. Yeah.
And I can't help but think that the world lost out on because both him and Whoopi Goldberg have moved to TV now.
Yes.
And I can't help but think that either a Belushi sabotages The View, right, or Whoopi comes and gets high with Belushi on Growing Belushi.
Yeah,
that's the crossover I'm looking for. I'm looking for Whoopi getting high with Belushi and just speaking her mind. Enough of The View bollocks. She just goes right for it, I think.
What I would love is like she goes to Belushi's, right, and she gets really high with him, and then she just takes like a lampshade, like kind of inverts it and puts like a tablecloth, like a purple tablecloth, and starts acting out Guinan scenes from Star Trek: The Next Generation. And Belushi has to be Picard, and it's like trying to do his best Patrick Stewart impression, and she's just like,
Belushi's putting cling film on his head so that it looks like he's got a bald head.
Right, exactly. Yes, that's the episode.
Dan Aykroyd shows up and plays War with a Cornish pasty stuck to his forehead. And we're like, don't put on any face makeup, Aykroyd. You got away with it in Trading Places, but that's it. Don't go any further. Well, he could have played Stryker. Is it Stryker? No. Yes. Who is the Picard secondhand guy?
Oh, Riker. Riker,
yes. Not Stryker.
Yes. Yeah.
It's Riker. Yeah, it's very close to Stryker. But
it's Riker.
But yeah, no. So. One question I had for the viewers and for you, Matt, is if the Belushi is sadly underrepresented when it comes to everyone's favorite cheap collectible Funko vinyl pops or Funko pop vinyls. There is no official Belushi Funko pop vinyl, much to my chagrin. If you had to pick a character to be immortalized with a Funko Pop, what would be the movie? What would be the thing?
Right away, it goes to Royce, right? Because you think of maybe having a red ketchup stain on his foot or something of the Funko doll. That's where I go right away. But I mean,
I go K9 because I want the little K9. Alsatian German Shepherd. You got the one pack, which is just Belushi in the beige
suspenders,
the beige suit, and then you have the expanded extra edition that comes with the green soft top car and the dog with the wing mirror hanging out of his mouth.
Right.
That's how you get the big duo packs.
Right.
In fact, while we're at it, if Funko ain't going to do it, NECA, you've got to get on that. Is it NECA, the company who does the the Halloweens and all those kind of things?
Oh, might be. Then I know Throbblehead does they do Throbblehead. They do bobbleheads of heavy metal singer. It's
are you saying we could get a bobblehead Belushi? Come on now.
I would
come on now.
They it's funny because somehow I ended up on their mailing list for how sometimes you get on these mailing lists for reviews and stuff like that, and they're and it's I don't know what I'm even doing with this, but I can't unsubscribe, right? It's just I've got to just see the bobblehead of the guy from Misfits or something like that, or whatever they've created, right?
The Ace Frehley bobblehead, yeah,
right, exactly. I feel like I should just write them and be like, "Can you just do Belushi and K9? Can you just give us that?
You just make that happen.
I'll pay the $50 or $100, whatever you charge."
Belushi and Jerry Lee, just as and I would have them. I would glue them to the dashboard of my car so that they just Belushi and Jerry. I'm saying right now because In fact, there isn't a what's very interesting considering his likeness rights and stuff. There are not Ghostbuster Funko Pops or Blues Brother Funko Pops, are there?
Yeah, no, that's a good. I feel like there should be Ghostbuster ones. I feel like there must be, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, there are Ghostbusters other things. There are other companies that have done Ghostbuster dolls. I do not think there's a Ghostbuster Funko Pop. Maybe there is. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
You're right.
But there's definitely not a Blues Brothers one that I'm aware of. The only John Belushi, Jim's older brother, that I know of is the Bluto from Animal House Funko Pop, because that's the one I have.
So they do have Ghostbusters. There's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that you can actually get at Walmart apparently. But
well, I have the large Stay Puft. But did they do the individual guys?
They did a Funko, yeah. So they did the guys. So so each of them has one, and then also the new ones with the Melissa McCarthy crew.
Okay,
it looks like they've got Funkos as well. So they have done those, but but beyond that, I don't know if I know you were talking about
because they've never, when people think the Blues Brothers, they just think John and Dan. Of course, you need to add John Goodman, and you need to add Jim Belushi, who has been officially a Blues Brother, never on screen, but in concert series for the last 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And you also have to add, if you're being deadly serious, you have to add Buster Blues, the kid from Blues Brothers 2000. You have to get the whole set,
the whole crew.
But no, I'm trying to think like the franchise that I feel, and it's odd to me because I remember moving over here, and one of the first discussions I had was Turner and Hooch versus K9. Now I'm a K9 guy all the way. Don't get me wrong, I love a bit of Turner and Hooch, but one and done. K9 went 3 films. Every film's a classic. And it's Tom Hanks in The Burbs and Volunteers, yes. Yeah. But Tom Hanks in Turner and Hooch, I take Belushi over it every time. Yeah. Then someone tries to go, well, what about Top Dog? And I'm like, leave Norris out of this. Norris doesn't even come close.
No.
Although Belushi and Norris are good friends, apparently. Yeah. So I wonder if there was ever talk of a Top Dog K9 crossover.
Yeah,
that would have been fantastic. Kyle says K9 ain't no Air Bud. So I want to stop there for 1 second. I know I've been talking a lot here, but I did not know this until I opened my own video store. I have my own video store, Be Kind Movie Vault in New Milford, Connecticut. Doing great, Matt, by the way, doing great.
Oh, that's excellent.
Selling lots and lots of movies. It wasn't until I opened my video store and people started to donate movies, and mostly the people who donate movies are mothers getting rid of their kid stuff that's been sitting up in the attic for a while. I honestly did not realize that Air Bud, the original Air Bud, has like thousands of sequels and spin-offs, and there's a whole line of puppy Air Bud spin-offs that are like Space Buddies and like Puppies Go to Space and Christmas Buddies, Puppies Power Santa's Sleigh. Like there's thousands of these movies. Air Bud probably has, and I'm not even, because someone would drop off all these movies to the store and be like, oh, I'm donating these films, and I would go through it. It would be 18 Air Bud and Air Bud sequel movie. I have them all in my store. So if you're an Air Bud fanatic, come on down to New Milford, 20 Bank Street, New Milford, and come into Be Kind Movie Vault. Buy all the Air Bud and Puppy Bud spinoffs you want. They're all there. So.
Right. That is absolutely, because it does make sense, just because I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s, I remember like they would advertise those Air Buds because a lot of times they were direct to video, and so they would advertise.
Oh, Matt, they were direct to video. I mean, we're not talking, 5,000 cinemas across the US have Space Buddies or whatever the thing.
But I remember they would advertise them. I can kind of see. So it's interesting, talking about the parents like bringing those things in, because there's a part of me that can see like a parent being at like a Walmart or something and just being like, I can't deal with my kid tonight. I need something.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, here's another Air Bud movie. This should work, and it's like
here's number 49 in the Air Bud franchise. And maybe Vin Diesel, we were talking about franchises earlier, maybe Vin Diesel is taking his cues from the Air Bud franchise. I mean, they went to space. The little cute puppies went to space. Fast and Furious went to space. I assume there's an Air Bud or Air Buddies, which is the puppy spin-off version. I presume there's one where an incredibly effeminate, bearded guy tries to kill all of the puppies with a hammer or something, like Fast 10. We've got our first spam.
Okay.
D. Kumar says, my WhatsApp Nambar, and then gives us a long Nambar, full open me video call, Kurungi free me service. So we've had our first spam comment. So thank you, D. Kumar, for your call Kurungi free me service, full open, blah, 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 blah. If you're interested in talking to D. Kumar, their number is 724-746-9316. I will not be going near that with a barge pole, as it is clearly spam.
Hey, if you've got money, I would say for people watching, or that are thinking of talking to D. Kumar, because eventually D. Kumar is going to want money from you. That's going to be the goal. If you have money burning a hole in your pocket that you could use for some things, John has really great collection of music on Bandcamp. You could buy one of his
miscellaneous plumbing fixtures on Bandcamp.
Yeah. I think about, I've got some novels on Amazon, $5 for one of them on Kindle. So sorry, D. Kumar, I know you're there trying to get some money from some of the people here, but if you've got money burning a hole in your pocket, we could use it instead, and we won't be scamming you either. You'll get the product that that you'd be buying from us.
Right, exactly. So. You'll actually,
and we won't pretend to be your friend. We will be your friend. We can be your friend. We're not going to pretend. We're not going to make it seem like we're in a relationship with you and then take all your money.
So this is Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures. This is where you can find the albums. It's missplumbingfixtures.bandcamp.com. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, what is this, Matthew?
Oh, look at this. You got a Christmas album.
Whoops, Christmas. I've compiled 12 of my Christmas singles over the last many, many years. And it's all in one glorious package. You don't have to buy them individually. It's all just there. And it is $3.50, Matt, to buy my Christmas single, my Christmas album, rather. Whoops, Christmas, featuring such classics as Boogie Woogie Christmas, Eric Stoltz Christmas, A New Brain for Christmas, Beardy Christmas, and Solving All My Problems This Christmas, as well as the Dr. Action Christmas single, Oh Christmas Lee, from The Expendables.
Nice.
Oh Christmas Lee, oh Christmas Lee. It's the Jason Statham Christmas single. That's on there. Who wouldn't want a copy of Whoops Christmas? This
beautiful. Christmas, I'll be picking it up. I'm definitely picking it up. I didn't know it was available. Because I subscribed to your Bandcamp, and it didn't give me a notification that this was out.
Oh no, it's not new. It's old.
Oh, it's one you. So maybe I already have it. I might already have it then.
I've just been adding. Oh look, you are on Google. This is your doppelganger namesake. Hang on. Oh, it's not sharing that now. Hang on.
Okay.
I have to do it on this one then, I guess. Hang on. I just typed in your name because I was trying to see if it would.
You type in Matthew Poirier author. My author page comes up.
Look at this is your doppelganger, Matt. This is what you would look like if you were successful but ultimately tedious.
Right.
This is hi, I work for the Intel Corporation. Well, he created the Intel Corporation, apparently.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's a much bigger deal than me. Yeah.
So you should really you should just walk around claiming you're him.
Right.
I think if you put on a suit and slicked your hair back, you could probably pass for this guy.
I could pull it off.
Yeah, you could pull it off and just like give an awkward grin. Look at this. That's the most awkward grin imaginable, but fantastic. Anyway, Matt, author. I was trying to bring up your author page. There it is. Look at that.
Yeah.
And Matt has. This is great. This is middle-aged man.
Well, because we can't let D. Kumar, come away with all the money here, right?
Right.
D. Kumar is trying to take money from our listeners here, and if anybody's going to be taking their money, it's us.
Well, look, put it this way: when you try and watch something on YouTube now, you get an 8-minute advert that you can't scroll through, selling you shit that you don't need, and claiming that you can lose weight without either moving or reducing the amount that you eat. You too could have Liam Hemsworth's abs if you just do nothing but listen to me on YouTube. And you're like, no, that's not how that works. You either have to move or eat less, or both, preferably. But talk us. We're not doing those adverts. We're not doing 8-minute long adverts selling you shit you don't need. We're saying we're putting on this whole show for free. We're giving you something to do on a Tuesday night. We're talking Jim Belushi. We're saying how wonderful it is. And all we're saying is you don't even have to pay us for it. But how about you purchase even more content, whether it's music or books, from us? Because look at this, Matthew. You've done a wonderful job. He has reissued all of his novels with brand new covers.
Yes.
Much to my chagrin, because I was collecting the original covers and wanted them all to match. So now I have to go back and purchase all of these. But I'm happy to do that. It's fine.
Can send them to you. I don't mind sending you author's copy. So
I'll be purchasing them, Matt. You can't stop me. But they got all new covers. Look at these covers. This is my personal favorite. A girl with a gun. I love the orange against the purple. It's a beautiful look and feel here. These are all available on Amazon. Yeah. Come on now, $12.99. You can't even buy an assassination for $12.99 anymore. You can't even have a neighbor's cat tapped in the back of the head twice with a silencer for $12.99 anymore. And believe me, I've tried. But you can go online and purchase. That went dark, Matt. I went dark. You can go online, purchase Matt's books for $12.99. Or look, if you have Kindle Unlimited, they're fucking free.
Yeah, they included Kindle Unlimited, $4.99 for the Kindle version. The funny thing is, I get the same royalty just about for the Kindle and paperback.
I don't have a Kindle though, so I have to purchase the paperback.
Well, you don't need it. So if you have the app on your phone,
right.
So you can also do it that way. So if you've got a regular tablet with the Kindle app that you can.
But I'm saying to the people watching, I get that you make the same amount, Kindle or otherwise, but someone can't walk up to the app on your phone at a dinner party and look at the app on your phone and be like, "Oh, that's really interesting. What is that book all about? What is the movie the book Holtman Arms all about? Please tell me all about it, and maybe I'll go on and purchase my own copy with this gorgeous Royal Tenenbaums building on the front cover here, which I'm a big fan of." But if you have the books on your bookshelf, conversation piece, a big conversation piece. When anyone comes down into my office here, which is the room that we're in, you can see over there on that wall, I have a bookshelf here. And when anyone goes over to that bookshelf, I have a whole shelf on there that is all just books written by my friends, because I have the most talented and amazing friends on the planet. And my friend John Wallace has written a trilogy of books. Matt has written 5 books now. Is it, Matt? 5, 6?
So 4 books, and then the Bainbridge is like kind of a novella.
It's like a smaller one. Right. Yeah. Let's call it 6 books. Let's not.
5 books. We'll call it 5 books. Yeah, 5.
Let's sell out Bainbridge. Let's call it 6. Because what you're essentially saying is that if Bainbridge is a full book, all the others are essentially 2 books. So let's call it 12 books. Matt's written 12 books, and my other friend John's written 3. My friend Jim has had his poems published. My Owen Friel from the Action Elite podcast, his brother Edward, has written a book. I've got all sorts of books. Tim Gross out in Pittsburgh has written gross movie review books and various other things. My friend Abby has some great illustrated guides to Japan and some comic books and things that she's written. I have all of those, Matt. It's my conversation piece. I walk over to it and I say, this is how talented my friend group is. I really don't deserve them. And I tell all the people about your books. And so you can't do that with Kindle, Matt, unless you're one of those people who's like, okay, everyone, look at me. I'm going to start scrolling, and then everyone hates you, and they want you to fall over into a burning fire.
Yeah. Now, I have to say, too, is John Wallace that wrote the Hammer?
No, that was his brother, Jim Wallace.
Jim Wallace.
Yes. Oh, Jim Wallace has not only just poetry, but he has 2 books. Yeah. One from After Movie Diner Press, which is the bloke down the pub talks Hammer horror. and then another one that he self-published, which was his "Are You Hurtling Towards God Knows What?" His book of poems, which is still able to be picked up via aftermoviediner.com as well.
Yeah, and the bloke down the pub talking about Hammer films. I own that, and I use it whenever Svengoolie does a Hammer film. I go to the book and see what he thought of it, and just sort of it's a really cool guy, because it's really cool, like because Svengoolie will do a Hammer film like maybe once a month, and it's always kind of great to see what John thought about it when I as I'm scrolling through there, and he gives really great. I mean, they're hilarious, but also really insightful. Because I mean, he doesn't really give. I mean, he gives the movie away, but it's a really they're really great reviews. And someone who's wanting to get into Hammer films, if you're someone who's like thinking about it, or if you love them, I can't recommend that enough.
No, I agree, Matt. I think it's one of the things I wish had come out of the After Movie Diner was that series taking off. I had nothing to do with that other than I gave him a platform to publish it on. But I do genuinely feel that in the world of film reviews and comedic writing and just coffee table books in general, I genuinely think it's a really, really fun one to delve into, because it works on so many levels. It works because it's, for people who don't know, it's Hammer horror reviews, so reviews of Hammer horror films, written by what we call lovingly in England the pub gobshite, which is the guy who sits down at the end of the bar, and when he hears you, like, you'll say to your wife or something, "Sure, I'll get a couple more margaritas in," or whatever, and he'll look up from the end of the bar over a 4-hour long, grimy, moldy, brown, thick pint that he's been drinking of pig slop or something that they've given him. He'll look up over his pint and go, "Wow, the thing about the margarita," and then he'll give you like a long history of Spanish cocktails, and you'll be like, "I really just wanted to order a drink and not be bothered by you." So we call those pub gobshites, and we love them, but at the same time, every time someone, "Wow, the funny thing about weasels is," they'll always have some bit of information that they just pulled out of their ass. Hopefully the internet's killing them off. Hopefully the internet is, someone's like, "Well, the thing about the three-toed Genoa," and you look it up and you go, "No, that's not a real fact. I don't know where you got that thing." The thing about the GNU is you're just making stuff up now. Hopefully the internet's killed them off. But the thing with the pub gobshites, so you've got that. You've got the comedic of, and another thing I want to tell you about this Hammer horror film, which is always fun. But then he managed in the 60 plus Hammer reviews that he did to always zone in on one thing. And it was either a story trait, it was either using the story as a metaphor for something happening today, or it was a director or a writer or something. It was some element, piece that he would pull out and zoom in on. And he would write the review around this idea. So he would focus on like the tavern owner as a character in Hammer horror films, like a staple, the butler as a staple or whatever, because there's always these kind of staples that keep reoccurring in Hammer horror films. And so there's that element. And then lastly, there's the film review element. And so you put those three things together. I just think it's a fantastic book. And more people should find out about it. It's on the website, aftermoviediner.com. It's by J.E.A. Wallace. It's called The Bloke Down the Pub Bangs On About Hammer Horror Films, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I mean, it's sort of like it really gets you in the right. I don't know if you necessarily need to be in a right headspace for Hammer horror films, but it definitely gets you in like kind of this mode of like, I'm ready to watch this now. Like I really I saw it on the TV guide, or I saw that it was available. I saw it's on Tubi or something like that, and I thought I might want to check this out. But now it's like I really need to see it. I need to see like all these little moments that he talked about. I need to see them kind of come to life on the screen there.
100%. And I think that if this show continues to any degree, we might have to write our very own Jim Belushi, the ultimate Jim Belushi compendium. I like compendium is a good word for a coffee table book. It just means we got a bunch of shit, we put it in a book, bound it and whatever. But what about the Belushi compendium? We could be the ones who wrote that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that so many of these the movies we've seen so far, like they just lend themselves to like a similar treatment, though very different treatment, right? Because there would be a very Belushi specific treatment, but it's there's such a unique Belushi element too that it's almost like it's like the Belushi would be the thing that would be anchoring on, but it would be that unique Belushi that we're getting from each movie.
Yes, and try saying unique Belushi 3 times fast. When you've just been hit by a semi after downing several margaritas. That's try saying that 3 times fast. It's wonderful, Matt, that this is where we're at now. So lastly, before we start the movie and start watching the film, Mr. Destiny, which although not a Christmas movie, is very Frank Capra-esque. Very It's a Wonderful Life style, so it fits for Christmas. Let's talk Christmas a little bit. Let it get a little seasonal. I have my harmonica here in honor of Belushi, because Belushi never goes anywhere without at least 3 harmonicas. I have 3 right here. I have an A harmonica, a D harmonica, and a C harmonica. So I have 3 harmonicas.
Nice.
I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but so that's a very Belushi-esque blues riff, and that'll lead us into talking Belushi Christmas. What do you think Belushi does for Christmas, Matt? What do you imagine a Belushi Christmas is like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with the Albanian piece that there's got to be like lots of like smoked cured meats involved.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, obviously that there's going to be some kind of big prime rib roast or something like that, but that like in and around it, there's a lot
they
of
go out and kill and skin an ocelot and
Exactly.
eat that, or a gnu or a yak or some kind of animal like that, alpaca or something.
Yeah.
They have alpacas in Albania. I mean, they should do alpacas, Albania. That's I think that's Air Bud 8. I think is alpacas in Albania. Yeah.
It's the plan to rejuvenate their economy, right? If suddenly they just everybody starts raising alpacas in Albania, suddenly they'll become like the crown jewel of the European Union, or they'll be allowed to even be in the European Union. I don't even know if they've been allowed to be in the European Union yet. So it's like,
I don't know if they are or not, Albania.
Yeah, I think they're just like, Albania, you got to get your shit together first before you can be in the EU. They're like, no, we don't really know where to start. And now it's like, hey, we know where to start. Alpacas, we'll start shipping them over there, and you start raising them and just making sweaters and things like that.
I mean, I don't know what I mean, Albania, I've seen a documentary on Albania. I imagine they have goats there. I imagine they have bears. They have their bird, obviously, on the flag there. Do you know what type of bird it is?
It's a falcon?
Falcon. Oh, falcon.
Maybe. Falcon.
Yeah, that sounds Albanian. The falcon, the majestic Albanian falcon.
The bird on Albanian flag.
Yeah, what is the bird on the Albanian flag?
Oh, here we go. We get to search here. It's a black double-headed eagle, actually. Is what it is. So I was wrong with falcon.
So what Albania is saying is, America, we see your one bald eagle occasionally superimposed on the stars and stripes. Fuck it. We are officially putting a double-headed mutant eagle on our flag permanently. It won't be occasionally superimposed on some kind of spray-painted truck or some kind of T-shirt people bought at, the Dollar General. This is because, by the way, classy shit never has eagles on it. Do you know what I mean? Like there isn't a tuxedo with like a majestic eagle on it. And if it is, it's the sort of tuxedo that some pop country star would wear.
Right, like you don't see a Land Rover with a whole like back window with like an American flag and an eagle, right? Like you're not seeing or Bentley or something like that, right?
No one's driving around in a stretch limo that's painted with the stars and stripes, the eagle, and the "Don't Step on Me" steak or something. I'm like, so much iconography, Matt. You would think that these people, purporting to be religious, would know that in the Bible that idolatry is one of the worst sins that you can commit. But these guys are all about idolatry, sir, plastering, as they do, every single square inch of their land with false idols. I only recognize the one true idol, and that is Jim Belushi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that for us, right, because we don't purport to be, staunch Christians or we don't purport to be any of that. So for us,
No.
we're perfectly well within our rights to. We're not considered hypocrites at all for worshiping at the altar of Belushi.
Oh no, I have plenty of Belushi altars in my house. Don't be scared, Mr. Belushi, if you're still watching. I think that's probably within my rights as I don't know what I am anymore, Matt. I've lost my identity. But whatever I used to be, that's what it is. The one. So we were talking about canine and we were talking about dog things. We'll get back to a Belushi Christmas in a minute. I'm sorry. The one thing we do, Beethoven. The other thing I found out, Beethoven has like 5 sequels.
Right. Yes.
Judge Reinhold was in a Beethoven movie.
Yes, because I don't think Charles Grodin was in all of them, but they had to start subbing him up.
2.
Right, yeah, exactly. And I think he hates that he was in any of them. I think when he was alive, if you brought up that he was in a Beethoven movie, the one thing I always remember at Grodin was really quickly was that he was on Conan O'Brien's show one time, and he had a talk show on CNBC when it first started. They replaced it with reruns of Conan, and he was on Conan O'Brien, promoting something else, and Conan was like, "How do you feel about the fact that my reruns of my show replaced your show?" And he's like, let's not talk about it." He was like kind of joking, but also not happy. It was that's my one Grodin memory that I have.
I wonder what Hollywood graph you would have to be on to slide from Grodin to Reinhold. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a graph somewhere in like the cigar chomping executive's office. Got a big cigar, and he's like, "Get me Charles Grodin in here." And he's like, "Grodin's asking too much money. I don't even pay the dog that much, and the dog's name is in the fucking title of the movie. Get me!" And he looks around to this chart, and it's just got like, Charles Grodin and Judge Reinhold and Peter Gallagher and whoever. I mean, I don't know who else would be on that. Jim Varney. I don't know what. There's just like a list of fucking bizarre B-movie guys on it. Don the Dragon Wilson's on there for some reason. We don't understand why. Lou Diamond Phillips, Gary Busey. Right. Now you're getting it. That kind of, there's a scale, the Grodin Busey scale. And underneath each of their names is what they'll sell their soul for. It's like a price. You know what I mean? And right next to like Judge Reinhold, it's like 50 grand and a bucket of chips or something. Or a happy ending at a local massage parlor, whatever it is that they're paying Reinhold off in Korean hand jobs. So he, Judge Reinhold is on there, and he's looking at it. He's like, "Grodin's after too much money. Fucking dog doesn't even get paid that much." And his name's in the title of the thing. "What sequel is this?" Part 3. So, fucking 3. Fucking doesn't matter. Where are we at? Oh, Judge Reinhold. He'll take 50 grand and a fucking hand job around the back of a liquor store. That'll do. Let's get him on here. Yeah. Like, there's a scale, and then ultimately you get down to Tony Shalhoub or someone, and they're like, "Put Shalhoub in this."
Right. Pre-Monk Shalhoub. I think after post-Monk, he was able to ask for more after Monk. Yeah. Pre-Monk, he was.
How much is post-Monk Shalhoub asking for? Fuck him.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think who you would get.
Get me John Ritter's son, Jason Ritter. What's he?
Exactly. Anyway, right. I was thinking like maybe Jake Busey is who you get post Shalhoub when they couldn't get Shalhoub. I guess yeah. Or
Don, like Don Swayze is definitely on that list.
Right.
Joe Estevez is on that list.
Yes.
Chris Penn sadly was on that list. He's he's any famous brother of a famous person. You know what I mean? Liam who's the other Hemsworth?
Yeah, there's a third Hemsworth, isn't there? There's Liam, Chris, and then there's another.
Well, yeah, but Liam is the lesser one, right? Yeah. And there's a lesser Wilson brother, isn't there? Isn't there? There's 2 regular Wilsons, and then there's Owen and
Luke.
But then there's a third one who occasionally shows up in Wes Anderson films, and I can't remember his name.
That could be. Let me see. If I look up Luke Wilson, we'll say who his brother is, maybe.
Of course, you've got 88 Baldwins to choose from. Although, isn't it odd how they used to be in the Baldwin scale? It used to be, Alec. Then, who was Sliver Baldwin?
William.
William. Oh, that's it. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry. So you had Alec,
William.
you had William. Then you had Daniel because he'd been on Homicide. So they were like, all right, he's got a TV show under his belt. Then you got Daniel.
Yeah.
Then you've got Stephen. You know what I mean? Yet, isn't it odd how the Baldwins now, over time, have leveled out? Like, there isn't one Baldwin you'd rather see. You know what I mean? There's not that thing where you look at the video cover and you go, oh, thank God it's William Baldwin. Like, no one's ever said that. They've always just gone, oh, fuck, a Baldwin's in this. Fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially if you wait around occasionally in the 90s erotic thriller genre, you'd be surprised how many times Stephen Baldwin pops up. Either knobbing Patsy Kensit or what's her name, Christy Swanson, or he's often doing Lara Flynn Boyle and him, or boinking and stuff. You're just like, well, how did fucking Stephen Baldwin? He's like Usual Suspects, and then right into the 90s erotic thrillers and dangerous religion.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? There had to be one Baldwin that had to be a religious conservative, right? And it was almost like Stephen was like, "I'm here. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
What's going? Straws. Maybe.
What's going? Once handsome A-lister, now chubby joke who's eventually going to kill someone. One always ran C-lister who's going to try and piggyback on the back of Alex fame and spoil miserably. One always chubby loser who's going to do a series of either schlubby stepdad or schlubby cop roles. And then you've got religious conservative. Which one do you want to be, Stephen? I'll take the last one. Sounds good. Do I get to do a lot of 90s erotic thrillers with actresses way more competent and sexier than I am? Yes, that is something that will happen, Stephen. Great. I'll sign up for that.
Of course,
that's what he signed his soul up for, So
well, and of course he also did Cutaway, the parachuting movie that starred him, Dennis Rodman, Casper Van Dien. Yes, that was.
Casper Van Dien is definitely on the Grodin Swayze scale. Yeah. Right.
It was like we need a Grodin. We can't afford Grodin, but we need someone who's better looking than Judge Reinhold. What do we have here? Oh, Casper Van Dien. He says he's available.
Van Dien is fine. Yes. No, I love that idea.
The Grodin scale.
On one end of it is Charles Grodin, the other end is Dean Cain, and everyone in between. Because if you're by the way, if you're casting Dean Cain, you're really, there is, you might as well be casting. What's his name? Joni Loves Chachi guy. What's his name?
Baio. Scott Baio.
Yes. You might as well be casting Scott Baio. It's equally confusing as to why you would do either of those two things.
Right. Yeah, there used to be a time with Dean Cain where it was like, well, he was in Superman, so it's like he did a Superman show, and it's like I think what we've been able to see with him is how long that wears off, because we never get to see it with Christopher Reeves, unfortunately, because he got injured and was paralyzed, so we never get to see when it wears off. We get to see it with Dean Cain, that probably about 10 years later, you can get about 10 years out of it, and then you're if you don't have anything else to bring to the table, you're going to be relegated.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So I don't know. Anyway, Belushi Christmas. What is Belushi doing this great? He's killing and eating a massive animal on his ranch in Oregon. What else is he doing?
Well, I've got to think that there's got to be I imagine his place has some kind of sound stage where people just show up and there's like microphones and instruments and harmonicas.
There's 89,000 harmonicas.
You can just
They're all the same key. They're all just in the key of A, but he thinks they're different harmonica, and no one has the guts to tell him. These are essentially, if they're all in one key, they're all essentially the same harmonica. Because there's not there's this harmonica like a blues harp, and then there's a chromatic harmonica, which is the one that Stevie Wonder plays on all his songs, that is able to do that oscillating sound. That's a lot more sort of flowery and melodic and has a lot more notes than a blues harp. That's a chromatic harmonica. But that's it for harmonica. You know what I mean? There's those like big bass ones, I suppose, if you're just kind of doing those. But I mean, ultimately, that's all there is. It's not a complex instrument, Matt. It's just this one in particular is 10 reeds, 10 thin wooden reeds with a metal casing, and just which sounds like an interstitial from According to Jim. You know what I mean? Like something would happen on According to Jim, and then you would hear.
Right, like he and his schlubby neighbor just found out they were locked in the basement, and that Courtney Thorne Smith is away for the weekend, and then do the harmonica, go to commercial.
That's exactly something that would happen. And it would just go, and then go into the next scene where they've already eaten everything in the basement. Like there's just crisp packets and Twinkie wrappers and just everywhere. They've already eaten, and it just says like an hour later. That's the caption on the thing. In an hour, they've already gone like completely bananas and stir crazy.
Yeah. It's like when Roseanne went to commercial. Good point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like it's like the Seinfeld bass guitar, whatever. Like it's that. It's those interstitials in between the scenes. That's what it is, and that's so. Whenever I do that now, I'm going to be thinking of According to Jim Belushi, the episode where him and the schlubby neighbor get trapped in the basement for hours. But it's literally for hours. It's like 3.5 hours, but they act like.
The daughter comes home and just opens the door. It was unlocked the whole time. What do you mean it was unlocked the whole time? It felt like it was locked. It was,
After 3 hours, they're both in like rags, shivering on the floor, like they've been in confinement for 20 days or whatever. Exactly. Like it's something out of Shawshank Redemption or whatever, where they just like look up at a crack of light, and Courtney Thorne Smith is there. She's like, "What's been going on?" or whatever. The door's been open the whole time. The oven's on, the dog's on fire, and they both just look at each other, and it just goes. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like it's the sitcom equivalent of mwah, mwah, mwah. So tonight, as we have sitcom moments, I will be utilizing the harmonica.
Use the harmonica for it, which is great.
So he's playing harmonica. People are singing carols. What carols are they singing? Matt? What's your favorite Christmas song? Do you have a favorite Christmas song?
I mean, I think there's got to be Blue Christmas, right? It's got to be
a good one.
Like a more rocking. The kind of group that he's going to have there. They're going to be doing Elvis ones, probably Otis Redding. Maybe This Christmas, and they'll have like some kind of soulful jazzy voice coming out of a white person.
They'll do a Blues really Brothers cringy version of This Christmas. Or Last Christmas.
Oh, Last Christmas. Even better, Last Christmas.
Is Last Christmas This Christmas? It's the same
This Christmas is the Donny Hathaway, This Christmas. Yeah.
No, I was thinking like Last Christmas you get like you take a really cheesy pop song,
right, and
they blues it up. They blues brothers it up. Carl is saying Christmas in Hollis, or clearly. So you're thinking Belushi and Aykroyd go full rap on us. It was December 25th or whatever, the beginning to say, or however it starts. And it's just, and by the way, I'm not going to rap because I'm white, I'm English, and I can't rap. So why am I, do you know what I mean? But Belushi wouldn't let any of that bother him.
No,
he would just full steam ahead go into the Christmas in Hollis rap. In fact, I think if you look up the According to Jim Christmas episode, he probably ends the episode rapping Christmas in Hollis with that actor.
Yeah, and he would do like the hand motions and stuff like that, and it wouldn't be cringy at all for him. For the rest, and probably for everybody who was there with him,
the rest of humanity.
For anybody who's outside of that space, like I wonder for us.
God, please stop.
See, I wonder if we were ever invited to the Belushi compound for something like that. I almost feel like
invite me to your compound. Right. I would be such a great guest. Anyway, carry on, Matt.
I feel like we'd be so wrapped up in it that we would be cheering for him and not be cringy at all. But then if somebody had a video of it.
Yeah, there's probably that moment where in the middle of Belushi dancing or whatever, you would kind of be like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I can kind of accept that you would get swept up, especially if you'd had several Belushi edibles. Kyle is saying the English are responsible for Wings, which did the worst Christmas song of all time.
Yeah. It is amazing that Paul McCartney, who is responsible for so many of the greatest songs ever, like just
All
so
his
many
Christmas singles suck.
Yeah, I mean, simply having a wonderful Christmas time. It's almost like he just like did bang something out in 5 minutes and said, "There you go, I'm Paul McCartney."
Well, that's exactly what he did do.
Right.
Even the Beatles Christmas stuff that they used to release with the Beatles magazine, even their song, which I quite like, all they sing is the word Christmas over and over and over and over.
Right.
Whereas if you pick up Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures album, Whoops Christmas, I've written a whole Christmas ode to Eric Stoltz.
Right.
Stop that, McCartney. You can't, you fraud. You've never written an Eric Stoltz Christmas in your life. I have, and 20 songs about Donald Pleasance. McCartney, you're a hack. Show me a McCartney song about Donald Pleasance's episode of Columbo, and then I'll be impressed. I have one of those, Matt. I've written a song about Donald Pleasance. And it's one of the best songs you've ever heard. I don't care. It's such a really good song.
That album has one of my favorite songs of yours. That second Pleasance one. Now I can't think of the name of it. It's the one where the
Following
line,
your father's footsteps.
Following your father's footsteps. Yes, but the line, like there's always got to be somebody stays behind and waves to the train and all of that.
Waves goodbye to the train. Isn't it a great line? Yeah,
it's
such a good line.
Yes, yeah, I love that. And so, yeah, I know Kyle's saying truth. Yeah, that album, for people out there, the Donald Pleasance albums are just you capture. I mean, the Columbo one, of course, is fantastic, but what Donald Pleasance is as an actor, it's just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I think people should check those out.
The lovely thing about the train one was that I got to talk about the romance of the trains. Like there's this whole idea of like the romance of the trains. But what you don't realize is that if you work for the train company, most people are not train drivers. Most people are station managers or, ticket checkers or whatever they are. Right. And that's a pretty unromantic life, but we've romanticized the trains, especially steam trains and all that right there. But also the actor's life, especially like a traveling minstrel type actor that like Pleasance was in the early days, going from either TV show to TV show or film to film or theater to theater, like busking his wares, as they say. There's something romantic about that as well. So the idea that you can make romance from the guy who stays behind, because there always has to be a guy who stays behind, as much as you could draw romance from the guy who's off to, search for fame and fortune. I like the juxtaposition of that. And it came out of nothing other than a Wikipedia entry that talks about how his father tried to get him to be a station manager with him. And Donald was like, I really want to be an actor, Dad. And he did work on the trains up north in England for a bit, but, left to pursue this career in acting, which, as we all know, is hugely successful. And so when you read that in a sentence in Wikipedia, like there's so much rich, like, the father-son dynamic, that it writes itself, Matt. So I was very happy about that.
Yeah. And I even kind of thought of it like sort of the English expat tradition where, people from England kind of go out to the rest of the world, but there's still a lot of people who still live in, there's always family behind in England who sort of, like you say, watch the train, and sort of like Donald Pleasance kind of going out to make his way in the world. And his dad is there watching the train go, staying behind in England as well. Yeah.
And when I was doing a lot of the Pleasance stuff, a woman wrote to me on Facebook, on the Facebook page that I have all about Donald Pleasance. And because I have a Facebook page all about Donald Pleasance. And she wrote to me and said, my dad in the 70s used to hang out with Donald Pleasance. I think I've got a photo or two around here somewhere. And she sent me a photograph of Donald Pleasance hanging out in the back garden with her dad, both with pints in hand. Donnie's wearing like a comedy hat that he's put on like a jaunty angle in order to look comic. And they just sat, two old fellas in the backyard with a pint each, and rolled shirt sleeves, because there were no t-shirts back there, Matt. People wore collared shirts at the height of summer. And he's just sat there with his comedy hat on or whatever. And I'm like, the fact that I never got to have a beverage with my idol Pleasance, this is the next best thing, is this photograph. So I have that photograph somewhere.
That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I just imagining Pleasance in that environment, like, because you think of him as an actor and all the roles he plays as an actor, but thinking of him as a human, not acting. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the other things that when I found out on Wikipedia that he'd had 5 wives, 4 wives, 5 wives done, 4 wives done. I forget whether it's 4 or 5. Anyway, he had a lot of wives, and he had enough where you'd think, all right, that's one too many. But it was the fact that there's if you Google him, there's no reports of he was a terrible dad or a terrible husband or a terrible father or a terrible whatever. There's no one ever had anything bad to say about Donald Pleasance. But the wives are all suspiciously close together. So although I don't ever indicate, any impropriety on Don's part in the song, I do mention the fact that all the wives were incredibly close together, and you probably had entirely too many wives, which I think is another good. Who's McCartney? You've not done that, have you? You've never written the Donald Pleasance wives song. I have.
Yeah, if you look at his Wikipedia page, right, it's the first wife from 1941 to 58, the second one from 59 to 70, third one 70 to 88, and then the fourth one 88, and then I think maybe he stayed with her until he passed. But it's overlap in almost every case. You're expecting to see one that's the years actually earlier than the last one ended.
Right. For those 2 years there in the 60s, Don was a bigamist. Right. He got it all squared away. It's like 1968. One wife is like 1959 to 1971, and then the other wife is 1968. And you're like, wait, what?
Right.
For 3 years there at the end of the 60s, Donald was a bigamist.
Right.
There was what was it I sent you earlier in the week? Oh my God, I was having so much fun with this. Oh, Leave It to Beav It.
Leave It to Beav It. Yes.
That was my favorite. Oh my God, I was just being like, leave it to Beav It. And it was just, the family would go out, they'd be describing to Beav It, who'd be this guy, like a construction worker, who looked reasonably sober at the beginning of the show, but the family would be like, so we're thinking of some archways and this and blah, 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 blah. He goes, all right. And he's just like leaning on the counter looking a little suzzled. The family goes out for the day and the camera follows them and they go on theme park rides and stuff like that. And it's going, ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da, leave it to Beav It. and then the family come home. Like, we see Beav It in the house with a hammer and a pint, just drinking pints, hitting things with a hammer. And it's da-da-da-da-da, leave it to Beav It. And then the family come home at the end of the episode.
The place is destroyed.
The place is destroyed. And Beav It is just lying on the floor, covered in greasy slices of ham, with a can still in his hand. Well, it looks like the Johnson family left it to Beav It.
Right. It'd be like that. Was it the Home and Garden channel or something like that? Like, it would be the perfect show for that. Like these.
Yeah. Oh, the HGTV. Yeah.
HGTV. Like,
that's what I was imagining.
Yeah. Leave it to Beav It. It's like between the Party Brothers and then whoever else. It's leave it to Beav It. And
Between 20-year-olds who somehow have a budget of 1.8 million on a starter home in Toronto.
Right.
So what is your budget for this? Wow. We think we can stretch to 1.8 million. 1.8 million in the suburbs of Toronto. What do you want, a castle? I don't know. The suburbs of Toronto might be very hoity-toity for all I know.
They're expensive. I actually saw an article about that today. That
really, I know that show was filmed in Toronto. That's why I used the name. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So some guy wrote an article about how he was living in Queens in the U.S. and He met a woman online who lived in Toronto, and she told him, "Oh, it's so much cheaper. Come move to Toronto." And apparently, the rent is better, right? Rent is cheaper, but if you actually want to own a house, it's just as expensive as buying a house in New York. And he's like, Toronto has like half of what New York City has, and he's like, everybody that lives in Toronto hates it when I say that, but it's true. And it's like, well,
well, okay, then the outskirts of Winnipeg, then. Like the few couples on the outskirts of Winnipeg.
Right.
Now we're going to get angry letters from Canada. Well, actually, Winnipeg is particularly. Oh, okay. Yellowknife for the Northern Territories. Does that work?
$1.2 million for a house in Yellowknife.
British Columbia. Kamloops. Can we go with that? British Columbia. No, not British Columbia. That's not the right word, is it?
It is. Yeah, British Columbia.
It is British Columbia.
It is. Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
BC. Yeah.
BC. Oh, what up, BC pals? I've got some friends up there. I've actually got some friends in Kamloops, in that area of Canada. So they've had the hoedown. They've had the immense amounts of gamey meats. And how does Belushi wrap up the night? What's his eggnog cocktail combination? What's he putting in there?
Boy, I mean, rum, right? Probably,
Right off the bat, we're just going rum. Right.
Yeah, probably a clear rum. I think he would do a clear rum in his eggnog.
Bit of Crystal Head vodka, probably.
Yeah, it could be.
Danny Aykroyd's hooked him up with the old Crystal Head.
Yeah, but I feel like by the end of the night, he's drinking brown liquor straight out of a glass. I think at that point, he's by
the end of the night, he's on a heavy stout.
Right.
That he's had flown in from Ireland or Scotland or somewhere. It's just it's 83% sediment.
Right, exactly. He's like chewing it as he's drinking it, right? He's spitting the pieces out as he
and blowing the pieces out through his harmonica.
You can't be too close because you get the
and his whiskey. Children, who he's forced to sit down the front row of the, because it's the daddy's special evening or whatever. The children sat down there. They've just got a long line across all of their foreheads of bits of beer that have been blown through a harmonica, and it's just a speckled line across them like a dirt tire track.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like you like that the whole concert singing thing goes on like kind of all night. That Aykroyd's
to the point where people are,
yeah,
can they please stop?
Right there, because the compound is probably hard to leave there at night because it's probably dark and driving. It's there's no Uber that's going to pick you up on Christmas Eve, So
certainly not at Belushi's pot compound in Oregon. No,
right, exactly.
I think Ubers aren't even allowed to go there. They've actually removed it from the Uber map service that they use.
Yeah, so you're stuck with it, and you just have to accept the fact that you're probably not going to get any sleep that night, because even if you're dead tired and you want to just pass out, you start to kind of sleep, and then all of a sudden you hear some screaming and yelling, bad blues singing, like the Dan Aykroyd kind of bad blues, I can't think of actual words, so just kind of mumbling it, but it's just Dan
Aykroyd has Dan Aykroyd at this particular Belushi party has gone back on cocaine and is wandering out in the crowd and giving making everyone a blues brother or blues sister. He's giving everyone fake names.
Yeah.
He's like, you are Josephat Blues, and you are Henri Blues, and you are, and people are like, I'm not anything. What's going on? And Aykroyd's just doling out Blues Brother names and demanding everyone wear dark glasses. And they're like, wait, how many brothers and sisters do we have now? Jim is feeling less and less special with each, because he's just, the janitor is now Janitor Blues, and the guy mopping up after the horses or whatever is Jeff Blues. And Jim's like, wait, what? I was, Jim is Zed Blues. I think that's his name.
Oh, is he?
I think so. He's feeling less and less secure as his place as the official third Blues Brother, because Dan Aykroyd's just flicked off his gourd, handing out Blues Brother and Blues Sister names to everybody. And everyone is confused. Nobody wants them, Matt. He's like, you are now, I bequeath you you are now, Arnold Blues. And everyone's like, stop with no, we don't want to.
I don't need that name.
Yeah, and then suddenly there's like a little kid dancing around dressed as a blues brother, and everyone's vomiting. It becomes messy, Matt. That's how I see it now.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think you're right. And I think it's like there's probably some tension the next day when people start speaking about their Blues Brothers names and Jim overhears and maybe gets a little bit sensitive about it. Like, you're really not a blues, but you really, he was really drunk. He wasn't really giving out those names. Like, he really,
10 years later, Aykroyd gets a mass letter that everyone is claiming royalties from the Blues Brothers brand. Like 85 people. They were like, you were there that night, July 2022, where you bequeathed me the name Berthold Blues. Well, now I'm here to collect. And Jim's like, wait, this is, because he had to borrow the Blues Brothers brand for his weed. And he's wait, do I now have to pay? There's a whole episode of Growing Belushi about it, where he has to go to South America and get these 3 strains of weed that no one's ever heard of, that are only owned by the mystical shaman of the hillside of South America. And of course, they're going to give it to Belushi. I mean, who else would they? I mean, if anyone else showed up, if what's his name? Who's married to Beyonce? What's his name?
Oh, Jay-Z.
That's it. If Jay-Z showed up, they're not giving it to Jay-Z. But if Belushi shows up, they're giving it to JB. That's what I'm saying, not JC. They're giving it to JB. And so that's what I'm saying, is that there's a whole episode about it. And then when he comes back and gives it to Aykroyd, Aykroyd is like, you have done well, my son. You have traveled to the deepest, darkest South Americas to find the holy concoction of weed madness that I just came up out of my brain. And you have come back here, and I would be honored to put the Blues Brothers crest on it. Because Aykroyd thinks the Blues Brothers are like the Kennedys or the,
right.
He thinks he's high on the hog with this stuff. And maybe he is. I mean, being married to Donna Dixon and having not one, but like 3 major franchisable, he's had House of Blues, Blues Brothers, Ghostbusters, and of course the rich history and heritage of the movie Neighbors that everyone loves, and obviously Dr. Detroit. That's another one that keeps making him the money. Well, he had the My Girl franchise, of course. But no, I mean, Aykroyd's done surprisingly well for himself. My Stepmother Was an Alien, and My Girl, and isn't he in Christmas with the Cranks, or is that someone else? No, that's Jamie Lee Curtis, isn't that?
Yeah. But I'm
just saying, it's been a good road for Aykroyd. It's been a road paved with money made from Blues Brothers stuff, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah. Did he give any of that to, any of the African American artists that he's been stealing from for the last 45 years?
Right.
Anyway, we should probably watch the movie, dude, at some point.
Yes, I guess.
I mean, I don't care. Listen, I could talk about this all night. The sweater's coming off, though, Matt. I'm getting warm.
I always go into these thinking like, I'm cold. I'm going to put my hoodie on, but I know eventually, just sitting in here and talking, it just, I got to go t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly go grab another beverage.
Okay,
and then we'll start the movie. Why don't you talk to people who are watching? No one's watching, and while I've gone, and I'll be back in 2 minutes.
All right, that sounds great. Yeah, and I saw Kyle. You mentioned shout out to Donnie P. Drunkenly cut that bar in half with a chainsaw. Oh my god, John escaping there. I like the pillow there. The Ash from Evil Dead pillow there. I don't have anything that cool. I've got just my office chair here, so nothing as cool as that. All right, we hear something going on there. Yeah, so this movie we're going to be watching here, Mr. Destiny. I remember when it came out, but I've never actually seen it. So this is.
And I'm back. What were you talking about?
I was just announcing that I hadn't seen Mr. Destiny. I remember when it came out. I remember like commercials for it, but haven't actually seen it before. So
No, well, it is the now Belushi endorsed.
Yes.
Two middle-aged men watching 90s era Jim Belushi films. We love the Belushi. We're going to go ahead and share our screen now. If I can remember how to do that. There we go. This is available on. Look at that. The way it immediately goes into what I like to call Belushi view.
Right.
This is the Belushi layout,
Yeah.
as it is officially in the known as in StreamYard as the official Belushi view. And we're about to watch Mr. Destiny, which came out in when did it come out?
1990, I think.
1990. And it has, as I said, a kind of Frank Capra-esque quality to it. So away we go. Enjoy.
This will be the second time we see Linda Hamilton in this series as well. So
It's very ominous. The tone of this is very ominous at the beginning.
yeah,
Nice font, though. Good
that's
font.
good like that. Yes, it's very old Hollywood font.
I wonder where this was filmed. I should look this up and see what.
Oh,
what was...
I've got it on IMDb. I've got it pulled up on IMDb here.
It's a beautiful soundtrack so far.
Yeah. Very wondrous.
No, a
North
bit of
Carolina.
dry ice there. It's very nice. This was in North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah.
He always had great cars. Didn't Belushi always have great
Yeah.
cars in films?
Yeah. They don't always run, but they're great.
I want a car with wood on it, Matt, really
I know.
badly.
That's the car we have to take for the Belushi road trip. It's
Yes.
the wood
Yes.
panel.
It's the blue Griswold car.
Yeah.
Seriously, I would kill for that car.
Yeah.
He should have said, and this is the bar.
Right. Okay. You're 15.
Bit of baseball. Nice.
Mm. Nice field. Nice minor league field.
I love that America is a country where you can just say the word lube in an advertisement and play it plastered across a baseball field. In the UK, we'd just be like, wait, what are they doing?
That does not look like a young Belushi, but
No. Burroughs is not a good that word for a good name for Belushi either. Burroughs. It's not a good
Burroughs.
Belushi name.
no.
Dooley. That's a Belushi
That's a-
name. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I wonder if Scorsese saw this and he was like, I'm not having a young person play De Niro in The Irishman after this.
Oh, that's exact with this movie.
right.
That made him go, we are not doing younger actors. We are doing confused AI garbage.
Right.
He missed the ball. How old is that umpire? I thought they were in school. The guy's just like, I'm 45.
Yeah, well, I think that the umpires can be old. Yeah, because
Oh, they can?
they're like
Okay.
dads or something. That like,
Oh, they are? Okay.
yeah. I remember somebody's dad was an umpire when he did Little League, and he threw another dad out because the dad was arguing in college. I remember seeing the dad like sitting like outside the area, like just kind of sitting there on the ground.
Wacky best friend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so he picks up the Chicago accent when he gets older, I guess.
Because he's got this, he wants to be alone because he is a brooding
Right.
and intricately complex teen
15-year-old.
baseball player. I have to say, I really love the way it's filmed. It looks the business. It's a really beautiful looking film.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this coming out. I remember like commercials for it.
She's the love interest.
No,
This
okay.
kid's got something of a podgy Cusack about him.
Yes. Yes.
Not that he's hugely podgy, I'm just saying.
No, but
Is that a dirty tissue she's offering him? There was like dirt on the back of that. She's like, "Oh, I just picked this up off the floor of the toilet." You've now got pink eye.
that's their memory of 1970s. That everything was
Oh,
dirty. Oh,
it's monogrammed. That's what it is. I thought it was a fleck of poop. Oh, the chemistry these kids have got.
is that her? Oh,
You're a grown man. You're 58. No, he's not. He's 36. See, Belushi can do lines like that wouldn't be funny in anyone else's hands, but in his hands, I love, I love the way he does the lines. Is this Maurice Shaken? It is. I love him. He's so good.
you're right. Yes, that's more shaken. Yes.
Great. I'm really enjoying this. Be nice to have a front lawn.
Okay.
See, that was a good scene. I feel like
Yes.
Shaken and Belushi got together and like improv that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That was getting his
His
booty.
timing's great when he was just like, "Oh, we'd like a front lawn." Like that was just really well done. His
Right,
timing's
right.
really good.
Yeah. Get your backs.
This is classic. This would be his Oscar clip. You know what I
Right.
mean? And the Oscar goes to, "Do you think it would be too difficult to get Wheaties?" You know,
We need a
people are
box
just
in case of an
fantastic.
emergency.
Oh, one of many beige suits. Belushi was a king of beige suits. Look, beige suit, front of Red Heat. Beige suit on the back of Red Heat.
That made it easy to shoot with him because, from a continuity standpoint, like the script supervisor loved Belushi, so it was just all beige suits.
Beige suit, back of Real Men. And we know he wears a beige suit in K9.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
God, he's a real whiner. Why do we want to see this guy redeemed? He has like he married his childhood sweetheart. Like oh, okay, so we can't get a front lawn. Put your own front lawn in.
Right.
Pay someone else.
Yeah. He
Maury Chaykin isn't the only lawn game in town, Belushi. Come on now.
But back then in the 1990s, you could go to Kmart and they had this whole like lawn section that was like set like off to the side.
Right, the
It kind of
Kmart
was
lawn section.
outside.
Everyone knows about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you just go to that section and get seed and this, whisk, pass it around or something. Oh, he's got to drink instant coffee. Now this is the height of indignity for him.
Yeah, classic comedy.
He's going to eat it. He's going to do the Chris Elliott technique. Yep. From yeah. Oh, it's this guy.
This guy, who's like the David Harbour before David Harbour. He walked so David Harbour could run.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yes. I remember he played an assassin on Law and Order: Criminal Intent.
Yeah, he screams assassin.
Yeah.
You know, if the assassin looked like something Wings Hauser sneezed one early morning. Oh, there he is. Lovitz playing the goof. This guy has stayed in the same town, married his childhood sweetheart, and his fucking best friend still has the same goofy glasses he had when they were 12. This guy needs therapy. Heavy therapy.
Like you think of like how much happens in your life between ages 15 and 35.
Right. I was on a continent.
Yeah. It's amazing the difference. And for these guys, it's all nothing has changed.
The handkerchief looked the same as it did years ago. That's funny. Lovitz is funny.
Yeah.
See, already, Matt, I genuinely like this film. Like,
Yeah,
I'm genuine. I know we're joking, but it's genuinely funny film.
Yeah.
I said 36.
Either way.
I think I said 58 to begin with, but
oh, geez, it's a fake vomit. Yeah.
This is like the song "Glory Days" brought to life.
Yes.
Bruce Springsteen song "Glory Days."
Yeah.
Except his glory day was it wasn't meeting his childhood sweetheart or having a best friend for 30 years. It's him not being able to hit a baseball.
Yeah. Which I feel like from a destiny standpoint, the better thing would have been if he didn't swing at all. Like
Right.
he just let the pitch go by and struck out. It's like, what if I had swung,
Right. Larry just doesn't. Larry Wachowski maybe, but not Larry Burrows.
No. Yeah.
Again, my only problem with this setup, Matt, is I don't know that I want to see this guy redeemed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I hear you.
But maybe that's the whole point. Maybe it's more like Scrooged or something.
Yeah. So
right. That's it. Okay. So he always wishes for the grass being greener.
Yeah.
And by living that life with Mr. Destiny and Michael Caine, he's going to find out that actually he preferred this life all along. That's what's going to happen. Right. Okay. Got it now.
Once he gets to Hank. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, come on. They had an opportunity here to redo the food fight from Animal House. Right? Come on now. Exactly the same setup. You got the cafeteria, the trays.
I think coffee.
You just need that little like music in the background.
Yeah, he needed. Yeah,
he picks up some Jello and eats the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they do like Guess what this is?
Yeah, a zip.
So much about the French actor. Yeah.
Oh, please let me know he does the zip thing. The zip thing. That would be hilarious.
I know. Oh, she works with him.
Is that what's his name in the background? Let's see it's in Miami guy. What's his name?
Oh,
Caruso.
Caruso.
David Caruso's in the
That's
background.
Caruso. We look at that nice mullet on the other.
Yeah. I love how they're trying to pretend that Rene Russo is all attractive and Linda Hamilton's not, when she's clearly the foxier of the two.
Exactly.
Now, the other thing that makes this a Christmas movie, the presence of Hart Bochner, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone will know him from Die Hard, the ultimate Christmas movie.
Yeah.
He's the guy who says, I'm your white knight. John Booby. No, Hans Booby. That guy.
Yes.
That's Hart Bochner. He's the guy who Hans Gruber shoots. He's like, don't tell him, whatever, over the walkie-talkie.
Right. Yeah.
He's not your friend. He's not going to help you out. And then he tells him and
Shoots him.
yeah, shoots him.
Which was a great applause scene in that movie. I was talking to Scott Murphy of All 90s Action all the time about this. We were recording for another podcast, and we were saying how if you remade Die Hard today, it would be a crypto bro that would be playing that part, and
Right.
That would, and again, it would still be an applause scene when you want to see him get shot like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the devil, Nakamura.
He's doing his Lewis. It's Lewis, right? He plays
Yeah, I
Lewis
think so.
in Die Hard. He's doing his Lewis.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Hart's the real power behind the throne,
Right.
complete with his golf club.
I love that as a first name. I think that's great.
What's that?
Oh, Ellis. His name was Ellis in Die Hard.
Ellis. That's it. Right.
Ellis.
Sorry. I don't know why I'm not remembering this stuff.
I'm horrible with names, so I'm
Yeah,
just,
me too.
yeah.
Burroughs is bothering me. He's so not a Burroughs.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Wachowski.
He did wear a beige suit better than anyone, though.
Yeah. Especially a baggy '90s one like that.
Look at the outfits in the background there. Isn't that like The Handmaiden or whatever that show is?
Right.
With Moss, Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah.
Does Belushi work in like The Handmaiden, like the patriarchy or whatever? Is he? I love it's in Belushi, part of the patriarchy. Matt, let's just tonight on Middle Aged Man watch 90s era Jim Belushi. We discuss the patriarchy. It's something you'll never ever hear me say ever again, because that would just be fucking tedious.
Nope, Courtney Cox.
Oh my
speaking
God,
of glory
Courtney
days.
Cox.
Oh, no.
Wait, is
Yes,
he just surrounded by the like fittest actresses of 1990?
Right. Yeah. I wonder, like,
Courtney Cox was staggeringly beautiful back in the day.
oh yes, yeah.
Before she had all that work
Yeah.
done. I don't like the whole madness that she's had done.
Right. Yeah, I wonder if when
Is he a Murray brother? Is he
him?
like one of the older Murray brothers, this guy? He looks like a Murray.
Who is that guy? He looks familiar. Let's see what we got here for him.
It's probably a Murray brother.
He could be. Oh, Pat Corley, maybe? I think it's Pat Corley.
He's one of the Corley brothers. That's right.
Yeah. Harry Burroughs is his name, so maybe not. Is that his dad? Oh, they're buying it.
Of course, Hart Bochner is the bad guy.
Right, of course. Yeah. You're in management.
I mean, this movie is full of conspiracies and subterfuge. It's wonderful. It's wonderful stuff. Also, every woman apparently wants to sleep with Belushi.
Oh,
Yeah, it is his dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. it was the 90s. It was like there's this panic around the United States that the Japanese were just going to buy everything. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And it ended up being the Russians.
right. Oh, was that his American Music Award for his blues music? Yeah.
I don't think he was officially a blues brother yet.
Okay. Liberty Republic.
So wait a minute. Let me just get this straight. He has a great job. Every woman wants to fuck him. His best friend is like his cubicle buddy, which is everyone's dream.
Yeah.
His wife looks hot in a one piece with a pair of, welding goggles on.
Right.
Like, what's he got to be upset about?
He wants Rene Russo and Courtney Cox.
Didn't have his fucking Wheaties in the morning.
Right. So the Wheaties is what did
Grow
it.
up, man. Oh,
he
you
broke the drawer.
Broke a drawer.
Yeah, Belushi, I would think if there was one person I wouldn't want sneaking around, Belushi would be it. He's Nakamura. Yep. Yeah.
This is sort of like Belushi's Die Hard, only flipped.
Right.
Because in there, it's a Japanese company that's being overtaken by a German guy and his henchmen. Here, it's an American company being overtaken by a Japanese company. But both movies feature Hart Buckner.
Is he going to pee on him? What a nice double-breasted suit. Oh, he's getting fired?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be horrible if it faded through and then Buckner was just pissing on his head? Because he was between his legs, right?
He's like,
in that last shot, it faded to black, and it just faded back up, and he was just pissing on Belushi's face.
Want to keep your job, Burroughs?
Yeah.
This is what you're going to have to do.
What's funny is he needs to do a weed ad where he's looking up at a sign that's like the universal joints. Come on, Belushi, get your social media manager on it.
Right, exactly.
Oh, it's Michael Caine. Hello, Michael.
Yes. It's hard for me to point with my arm gaiters.
Yeah. I'm having to wear these elastic armbands. It's cutting off the circulation to my fingers. Thus, pointing is very difficult.
Can you build a shot glass here?
Oh, cross. See, I'm in this as well. It's a Christmas miracle.
Right, exactly. John Cross and there.
You don't need a new car. That car's a classic. You just need to get a better engine. Let's get it fixed up. Car trouble, huh? I better pour you a bloody beer. Michael Caine, who has acted with both Jim Belushi and Steven Seagal, which is odd because they've never been in the same room at the same time together. These two acting powerhouses.
Getting used to it. 20 years.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm.
My boss urinated on my face.
And he still didn't let me keep my job.
My wife looks hot in overalls.
Right.
Go back to the last one about your boss pissing on your face. What happened?
Is there any video of that?
Have you put that up on YouTube? Or maybe Pornhub?
That's not what the Hoobastank song was.
Now, you know that Michael Caine did that like lesson in film acting and the whole not blinking thing. Like when you heard about that, like Caine's theory of acting, and then you watch all his performances, it's ridiculous. Like how much he doesn't blink and how much he like looks just off camera and like knows the eye line and everything. Like the technique is quite remarkable.
Right? Yeah, he's like. Also, it's supposed to look like milk.
Yeah, but it's secret Michael Caine concoction that sends you back in time to when you really hit the baseball.
Well, let's spend the next hour seeing how it would have turned out.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, how would that have turned out?
Iris in.
I love the soundtrack. It's very Casablanca.
Yeah.
Nice. No CGI back then, people. That was done for real.
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yeah. That's it, Belushi. You did it.
Yes. He killed the center fielder with farts.
He He didn't just hit the ball.
Right, right.
He exploded the sign, man. Yes.
And now suddenly his life is amazing. He's gonna be like Arthur, right?
There's an
Arthur.
immediate jump cut from that to him, like it just cuts to him in a Portaloo furiously masturbating. You're like, wait, I don't know what this has in relation to hitting the ball. Well, he got all the confidence he needed from hitting the ball that he decided his fetish was masturbating violently in a porta cabin. So he just went around the country to building sites. And this movie took a turn I did not expect.
like Michael Caine's watching, kind of like from a crystal ball or something, and he's in the porta potty, and it gets like lifted up by the company that's emptying it without knowing that he's in it, and he's like, helping it out. He's like, whoa, whoa.
The movie just goes completely weird and twisted and dark. No, you're all done. Oh, he's got the lawn now. The lawn's there and a driveway. It's still a shitty house, though. Jim, you'd still live in a really shitty house. It's like a cookie cutter.
It's paved.
Whoa. Anything.
Yeah. And did it within 20
Belushi
like,
doing that
hours.
callback comedy that he's so richly known for.
Right.
Must have found a mud guy. Closing out the comedic loop that started earlier with him and Marie Shaken.
Right. By the next thing, he's peeing on Marie Shaker's head. Andrew Dice Clay.
This guy's got a great accent. I don't know where they found him from, but
Yeah.
he is mangling every vowel. It's glorious. Warren Street.
Oh, Indiana. I think that's like a nice. It's a hoist.
This guy's great. I want this guy to be in every movie. Yeah, playing come in my house and fucking you bugging the bull and we the big. Larry, it's Michael Caine here. Come into my fucking cab. This guy's great. See, even a cab driver knows you don't fucking live here. Bottom bing, bottom boom.
No.
Kane can't agree on an accent though. He's going from his posh to his Cockney
Yeah.
to his American. He's kind of
Yeah.
veering all over the place.
He feels like a cab driver should be more Cockney, but you know.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
He doesn't get it.
You don't get it.
The Arrested Development voiceover, Ron Howard, just comes on and goes, "The truth is, Belushi didn't get it."
Right. So I think this actor's name is Tony Longo, the one who's in that last scene.
Yeah.
That
With the
you put in New
glasses.
Jersey. Yeah, he's no
Yeah.
longer with us. Passed away in 2015, unfortunately.
Oh, that's very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Yeah.
He Belushi outlived him, huh?
Yeah. Yes, by a good amount. Yeah, he was in Fletch, 16 Candles, Eraser. Yeah.
I
And
hope
wondrous
Michael
music.
Caine shows up at my house at some point. I'm going to teach you a lesson. You may have a wife you love, house you love, a job you can tolerate, the dogs you love, but I'm going to show you what would happen if you hadn't have masturbated in that porter cabin at the age of 9. I've been here. This is the Biltmore.
Is it?
This is the Biltmore Mansion.
Oh, okay.
So what's hilarious about this is that there is no way, even if you were a billionaire in 1990, that you would have any luck of owning anything like the Biltmore Mansion. The Biltmore Mansion is like old money. They own enough land around that house to like literally be a small town unto their own. Like it's insane. It's inside the house is all these different rooms that are in different styles from like different European places and things. It's all imported, and yeah, it's money that even Elon Musk or whatever couldn't afford at this point.
Right. So it's in Indiana?
North Carolina,
It's in North Carolina. Oh, okay.
Asheville,
Oh,
North
right. This
Carolina.
movie is shot in North Carolina, but it takes place in India. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this is like where we talked about like the Kennedys earlier, like the Biltmore, wasn't it owned by the Rockefellers or something?
Oh, you think you're right? Yes.
One of those
Yeah.
families.
Yeah, that makes sense. Stop Rene Russo.
Oh, he's got 2 ugly children. It's fantastic. Casting director was like, "We need the ugliest children we could possibly." Rene Russo's got a really odd, like bone structure. Do you know what I mean? Like a
Yes.
big chin and big cheeks. I mean, she's an attractive woman. I'm not no criticism of her. I'm just saying it's a very unique look.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and it's such a strange idea that Rene Russo, right, that he would be pining over Rene Russo
Right.
with Linda Hamilton as his wife.
Right.
Like just because she doesn't buy him Wheaties or something, somehow she's less attractive. Like, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
He just doesn't understand love because he's a thick-headed Neanderthal multi-billionaire, apparently.
Right. But that baseball hit made him a multi-billionaire.
Yeah. I mean, look at all that property behind him. Like it's enormous.
I can imagine. Yeah. It's a compound. It's
They
like,
do daily tours there, and they host. They're doing. We in fact we're down there for Christmas, which is another great
oh,
reason to
nice.
watch this movie because I'm literally visiting the Biltmore on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
But they've got like the Van Gogh immersive experience thing.
Yeah.
They've got a Italian Renaissance immersive gallery happening at the Biltmore on Saturday. So we're going there with Kim's sister who lives down in Nashville.
Oh, nice. That's exciting. Yeah,
That's gonna be great. So I'm
excellent. Yeah,
actually going to stand right here on Saturday and have
You're
my
gonna be
picture
this-
taken right in front of the lion and be like, "See, Matt, see, it's Biltmore in North Carolina."
that is awesome. That's amazing. I was reading something about Asheville recently. I've always wanted to go there. It seems like a really nice area.
Yeah, it is beautiful. The other Last of the Mohicans was filmed at the waterfall near Asheville. I'm going to forget what rock it's called. It's not Chimney Rock, but it's something like that. Down in the Adirondack. Not
Oh yeah,
the
so Appalachian.
Appalachians is what I mean. Sorry, not the Adirondack. I'm getting everything wrong tonight, Matt. I'm just getting everything wrong tonight. I can't
Oh, that's
dial my
okay.
brain in. I'm gonna have a caramello. I apologize for the
Oh,
noise.
have one. Yes.
It's a mini one.
Yes.
I have a whole bag of mini ones.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I, I was at home.
Middle-aged men who watch 90 Years Era and Jim Belushi do not endorse nor recommend the consumption of caramellos.
Yes. Nor do we. Well, maybe we do endorse Moxie. But yeah. Oh, he's disappearing.
Oh, he's fading away. I'm going. Goodbye, Jim. In a few years, you'll have a successful sitcom, mate. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
How many wardrobe departments do you think he went into where they were like, well, we thought your character would wear a beige suit?
Yeah, that was there's gonna be casting, like wardrobe people that are just like, oh, we got Belushi, this is great, and like script supervisors that really love it, right? Because the script supervisors are like, he's gonna wear the same thing all the time.
Yeah. He's going to like the Chicago Cubs and he's going to wear beige suits.
And if he owns that Biltmore place, that suit is just way too cheap for
Right,
Dave
exactly.
Russo's gonna look at that and be like, where did you get that thing cut?
Right. Is that off the peg at J.C. Penney's?
Right?
She's got very exaggerated features. Everything is very large. Big
Yeah.
lips, big eyes, big cheekbones, big
Yeah.
chin, big hair, big shoulder pads.
I think directors loved her at that time. Like they just,
Russo, she was a key component of the early 90s, that's for sure.
yeah. I mean,
Lethal Weapon 3.
right? Yeah. Well, because Patsy Kensit, they had to get rid of her and do the weapon too. And
Oh, you always have to get rid of Patsy Kensit. You can't have any Patsy Kensits lying around taking up space.
exactly.
That's another weird one. If you grow up in England and seen Patsy Kensit in anything, you'd be like, oh, Jesus, she's awful. But she went and had a career in Hollywood, and it's sort of, I mean, not like a huge one, but she did, 15 films or whatever it was, where she was either the lead or the lead's girlfriend or whatever. And she's horrendous. I mean, first of all, she's not even that cute. Secondly, her voice is terrible. Thirdly, she's not a good actor. Not a good actor at all. She's not comedic. She's not dramatic. She's not sexy. She's not, not a good actor. Also, why would Belushi, even if he was a billionaire, need anything like that couch?
Right. You let Rene Russo's character pick it out, I guess. But yeah.
I think it's weird because I live in the town where Mr. Deeds was filmed, the Adam Sandler movie, and it's giving me a bit of a Mr. Deeds vibe.
This movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Brisky.
It's kind of like a fish out of water story, only the fish is poor and the water is lots of money.
Right. Bathrooms?
What wouldn't they go, wait a minute, you've lived here, at least however many years.
Right.
Like, wouldn't do you know what I mean? I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, how do you not know how to get to the bathroom?
Right.
Like, yeah.
Also, no one is this wealthy. No one.
Yeah. No.
This is like money that was made over thousands of years of unscrupulous deals.
Right. Or like,
slave traders or
somehow
robber
like, him hitting that baseball allowed him to invent like Amazon or Google or something like that. Like that's
right. But these old stately homes, even in the UK and America, they are priceless. Doesn't even begin to describe it. They're sort of
right.
beyond money. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't, even if you were a multi-billionaire, you couldn't rock up and just be like, I want to buy
Right. You
this
have to
stately
build your
home. Like,
own.
it just doesn't work that way. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
build your own. But
Yeah, but it wouldn't be this. Yeah, it wouldn't be this size. Shut the front door.
See, that's funny. Oh, Belushi was getting an applause.
Oh, did you get it? It was a. Oh, it's a birthday. I thought it was
His
like
birthday. Wait, his birthday cake is like a carved out whipped banana cream eagle.
I thought it was a butter. I thought it was like an eagle.
Maybe it's
Carved
a
out of
butter
butter.
cake. Maybe it's a butter
Yeah.
cake. It's butter, baby. Oh yeah, very clever. Wonderful.
LJ. That's still I never would have seen that.
It's the classic. He knows how to play blue collar in this environment so well.
Mhm. I never would have seen a Stilton joke. Like I wouldn't have seen that coming. And
He's so good.
yeah.
Wow, Kathy Ireland
Yeah,
just
yeah.
crops up in the movie out of nowhere. Every woman in this movie fancies Belushi. Like, every single woman.
It's
And
like watching a Seagal film.
even his stepmom is like, "Oh, I will definitely be having sex with you later."
Right.
This is where Pornhub gets all their ideas. Sexy younger stepmoms seducing their clubbing son-in-laws.
There's like a whole tag on Pornhub, I guess, for like
Yeah.
Belushi, Mr. Destiny. All right, like Mr. Destiny.
Yeah.
Mom.
This is like the unscrooging or the re-scrooging.
Right.
Unscrew,
Right.
re-scrooging.
Yeah.
Because he's being shown this wonderful existence, but in it, he's like a heartless scumbag who
Right. Right.
possibly would fuck his dad's wife. Well, not wife, but girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna nail my dad's girlfriend, who he met in Morocco. That's a weird thing to say, Jim. No, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm living some dream existence where that's a thing I get to do.
Oh, speaking of the devil, there's Michael Caine.
Oh, and Michael Caine helps himself to my pickled herrings or whatever he's going
Yeah.
after.
Oh, this is fantastic.
It's his bloody good goose, Jim.
Like, is this Iranian? Did you get this from Tehran? Calm, the Caspian Sea.
And by the way, if you don't nail your dad's girlfriend, I'm going to. And I will take a picture of me in a mirror while I'm going to town on her, and I'm going to text it to you every 5 minutes. Why?
Well, since you put it that way, I guess I better go bang her.
They have to keep fading Michael Caine out because he has it in his contract that he's not allowed to be in this movie for longer than 1.5 minutes in a full run.
They're gonna make another child that he's gonna forget the name of.
No, she brings him inside the house, and his dad's girlfriend is just standing there. She's like, there's your birthday present. He's like, I have an amazing life.
Yeah, look at the door. I mean,
Be hilarious if he knocked over some of these candles and the entirety of the house went up in flames. I can't believe that they let Belushi be in the Biltmore and have live flame. Like, that's just a combination I did not see coming. But you know who we are going to see coming? Wah, wah, wah. Sex joke on According to Jim.
I love the outfits, kind of like the young lady that would hang out with the Joker in an old Batman episode.
Right?
Like,
Oh, no, she's definitely the woman who would hang out with the Joker. Well, she's already got the enormous smile. He's all happy because he slept with Rene Russo. He's like, I am fucking amazing. I heard you. My bedroom is adjacent to yours. Even though this mansion has 712 bedrooms, I chose the one that is right next to the wall of your bedroom. It is a little creepy, but that's how I like it. So I heard you go at it all night.
so he could be the president of the company can afford that place.
No, that's not. Again, that's not possible. Like, even think of Tony Stark, right? And I get it. Tony Stark owns buildings and he owns jets and he owns whatever, right? But his house, even the one in Malibu, is just a big glass, fancy Californian house in Malibu. It's not a fucking enormous. It's not like the X-Men mansion or whatever, like Xavier's X-Men mansion.
Yeah, but he's like just the president. It's not like he's like some entrepreneur that like owns something that like was sold for
Right.
like
He's
$2
not
billion.
even Tony Stark rich. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Belushi's sperm definitely produced that kid. That's one of the worst castings of kids ever. What are these kids? Who hired these children? Can we get a cross-eyed, bug-mouthed, curly-haired freakazoid? And then can we get a guy? The other kid looks like a Lego child. Like, he's got that Lego hair. Like, it's just...
The daughter looks like Mama Cass. Like,
Yeah, there's no way that Belushi was wonderful last night. No, and I'm not. That's not a thing. Imagine the scenario, right? You've been used to sleeping with your childhood sweetheart for 28 years or whatever it is, right? And then the first night in your new life, right? You get Rene Russo, who's your like dream office babe, right? There's no way you go into that bedroom, hey, I am fucking confident. You go into that bedroom being like, wait, I don't know where my mind and body are. I've been with the same woman for 20 plus years, and now I'm going to be expected to, perform with this new woman. I don't believe that he just was like, yep, cock of the walk, mate.
Unless he fell into it because the him
He
that's the
fell
president,
into her.
like him that's the president was so bad in the sack. He was like,
Right.
He was like, the guy from American Psycho, who's just like staring himself in the mirror, like jackhammering away. But then like this version of him near, he's like a little bit more like
loving and caring.
Yeah, like Linda Hamilton showed him how to do all kinds of stuff that he.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
the way you looked at that. You looked at that with a very soulful approach. I appreciate it a lot. Ellen Ripley? Isn't that Sigourney Weaver's name from Alien?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and James Cameron directed Aliens, and James Cameron was married to Linda Hamilton.
Right. Wow. Well, it just says Ripley, but yeah, I think you're right. Oh, is that Johnny Walker Black Label? The good stuff?
Yeah, it's not the good stuff at all.
Ooh.
How did I not know that Courtney Cox was in this? And she creeps up in some mad movies in the 80s, doesn't she?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Master of the Universe, Sketch Artist 2.
It's good artist.
Is it Sketch Artist 2 or Sketch Artist 1?
I think it is too. I think you're right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oops, she's gonna stab him. L.J. Burroughs.
Yeah, you want to stab him in the cock. You want to put a knife into his wiener.
Oh, hi guys.
Oh, Buckner.
Wow.
It starts a foot chase, an hour-long foot chase, running after this old guy.
They're like jump hurling couches and things like that. Come on. Come on.
Comedy golf scene with the old man. Look at Belushi in a horrible sweater.
And the pants too.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Look
is
at
good.
Bruckner's. Bruckner is so at home on the golf course.
Is that slow motion?
Look at him. He oozes cheese.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when he grins, cheese balls just fall out of his mouth.
Right. It's just, and
He's
it's not sweet either.
He's perpetually shiny, Hart
Right.
Bruckner. Like it's not sweat, it's like a gleam.
Yeah, with the sunglasses too. It's like
I like that Belushi is not a golfer. That makes him. That's the first thing he's done the whole movie that has actually endeared me to him.
Right.
That he is not a golfer.
Right.
Because there's nothing I hate more than a golfer. I really do just hate golf in every form.
Yeah, I listen to people talk about it. I used to have a putting green in my dorm. I used to putt when I was in
Putting is
college.
okay. Putting is fine. And like, what's the funny golf where you have to hit it up into a windmill or whatever?
Miniature golf, yeah, mini golf,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine because it's fun for all the family. But my point is this: every single corporate decision, or every single law that's been passed, or every single decision that's ever been made that has kept someone down, broken up something that people loved, removed something from the market that people loved, put, arsenic in kid food, put asbestos in, high schools or whatever. Like all those decisions, anything that ever fucked up the environment or killed a child, all those decisions were made on a golf course. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. So I fucking hate golf for that reason.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I'm also
Look,
not
David Caruso's back.
Robertson.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Wait, he thought he could have this whole other life and still be with his ex-wife? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way this works.
Yeah. Yes. Ooh. Turns out he's a jerk off.
Well, you don't get to own decades-old familial wealth
Right.
without being a jerk off, I think is the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's the old chestnut, Matt, that it's better to be poor and happy than to hang out with a gassy Michael Caine.
Sorry. So
This meatloaf is fucking awful. I'm here in this cafeteria. Larry, get better food in here.
his bloody bubble and squeak you make in here.
Yeah. Where is my filet mignon? I came here for filet mignon. And what you have served me is inedible.
Because you're a jerk off.
This meatloaf is making me sick.
Meanwhile,
It'd be hilarious if Meatloaf ran behind him in the background. I would do anything for love. And Michael Caine just went, threw up all over me.
I actually
I have to go now. This Meatloaf is making me sick.
I had a boss one time who told me that him and his wife saw Meatloaf when he was touring in like the late 80s, early 90s to make a comeback. And I guess his hair was all sweaty and they were in the front stage and he whipped his head and his sweat got on them and they almost threw up like that. And I guess like he was offended that they were grossed out.
Yeah, my Meatloaf sweat. I would be. Imagine if a fleck of it went in your mouth.
Oh, right.
I mean, just.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
can you imagine him there with his gut hanging out and his sweat and his.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they said they were like visibly disgusted, and then he was like offended that they were disgusted. And they're like, "What? Like, how could
And what's weird is they've had a sort of a dowdy kind of brown hue to their skin there ever since.
Yeah.
Not, it's not been able to be removed. It looks like a tobacco stain.
Right.
You know, just-
Exactly.
Daddy's having a mental breakdown.
Mama Cass, please go and take your brother in the other room.
Mama.
That don't look like Mama Cass.
No, that's true. Yeah. I miss my former life. This, I have to say, this soundtrack is exceptional. It's almost too good for the film. I mean, the film's great too. I shouldn't be negative. I do love this film so far, from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's it's a kind of movie that like the late 80s, early 90s, you could see in the theater. Like
Yeah, they
nowadays,
did
this would
very
be
well.
like direct to streaming or something.
Well, nowadays they just wouldn't make this. Sort of a mid-budgeted thing that they just wouldn't do anymore.
Right, that's a good point. Yeah.
He is just not happy, Matt. That's the message of this movie. It doesn't matter what life he's living.
Right, nothing's gonna make
He's
him
just
happy.
not happy. Another beige suited dude. She clearly really loves pastels on a guy.
There's something very separate lives about that outfit.
Yeah. It would have been hilarious if she'd slammed the door and all the glass had fallen out of the windows. Right. Wow. Linda Hamilton's a badass.
There's something very Critters about that house, and you could wait to see like
Yes.
Emmett Walsh going like flying through the window. Maybe like she throws.
I think it's not so much it's very Critters. I think it's very Emmett Walsh. I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
This is I'm loving this movie. This has all the Belushis that I want in
Yes.
one movie.
I
It has
agree.
comedic Belushi, serious Belushi, romantic Belushi, wistful Belushi, rich Belushi, poor Belushi,
Right.
and best friends with John Lovett's Belushi. It has all of the Belushis that I'm interested in one film, and
So now
that's what I'm.
we've got voyeur Belushi here as well.
We had beige suit Belushi earlier, which is one of my favorite types of Belushi. Oh, Belushi with a dog. We even get the dog is called Hercules. Of course it is.
Yeah.
See, this is where you could have had a Beethoven crossover and had
Right.
Charles Grodin show up or Judge Reinhold. I would have happily taken Reinhold at this point in the Beethoven
That
saga.
would have been great if like Reinhold was sitting next to Belushi, like great view, isn't it? And
Yeah, right.
yeah.
We even get this movie has all the Belushis in it.
Right.
It even has dogs Belushi.
Right.
Who doesn't love Dog Belushi? Dog Belushi, I have to say, is my favorite of all the Belushis. Is
Yeah.
Dog Belushi.
Yep. Every other actor says you should never act opposite kids or animals. Belushi's just like, no, let me act opposite a dog. I'm willing to do it.
Yeah, and a kid in Curly Sue,
Yes.
the least popular of all the John Hughes movies.
Right. I love how being the president of the company gets him like this like immense amount of wealth that he has all these cars and all of this stuff.
Right, but he still has to go to the office every day.
Yes, well that too. Right, that's a good point too. Yep.
Oh, I think we're about to get dramatic, Belushi.
Yeah.
I mean, this soundtrack, dude, this sounds like an old Hollywood
It does.
score. Brilliant extra there in the background.
Yeah.
Oh,
We find
Faulkner
out
and his
that
friend.
Meatloaf. Love it. Something the Meatloaf.
I'm even loving Buckner. Buckner is fantastic in this
I
movie.
know.
He's doing his Die Hard Slimeball, Ellis character, which I'm here for.
Yeah.
We've got so many Christmas elements. We've got the fact that I'm going to the Biltmore for Christmas.
Right.
We've got Hart Bochner from Die Hard, one of the famous Christmas. We've got the Capra-esque score and plotline. So it might not be set at Christmas, but there's one of these movies that I feel are kind of cozy and Christmas-like.
Yeah. Except the critic was pretty successful.
Lovitz was like, I want a dramatic scene. They're like, you're John Lovitz, don't stretch it. And he goes, no. I want people to see what I can do. I'm like, I don't know how many people are going to watch Mr. Destiny, but in about 30 years, two guys who are middle-aged and grumpy will watch it and talk all the way through it. John Lovitz is like, all right, I'll take it. Acting.
Funny farm.
The little quiver in his voice. Nice touch, Lovitz.
Really going for that Best Supporting Actor Oscar.
The Oscar goes to Johann Emmanuel Lovitz. His performance as nerdy best friend in Mr. Destiny.
They're pretty class. And then you were hit a baseball and became a jerk and didn't like me anymore.
Yeah.
When I had sex with your baby sister.
And you know that woman that your dad was seeing for a while, I kind of nailed her too. His name is Clip. America's the only country where they'd be like, Clip. And everyone just go, sure, his name's Clip. We'll just accept. What even is Clip shortened for?
Yeah, that's a good question. What does it say? Let's see what we get here.
I'm just saying, in America, people are like, this guy is called Clip.
Yeah.
And everyone just goes, sure he is.
Yeah, right. Hans, baby.
Hans, Booby, I'm your
Okay.
white knight.
Get me a Coke, booby.
You ask for miracles, I give you the FBI.
I didn't notice we had an eagle here, so if only that eagle had two heads, it would really
Had two
represent
heads.
Belushi.
Well, the second head is Belushi's head.
Right,
This is
that's a
him
good
saying, I am the two-headed eagle of Albania. That's why he's Albania's first son, that I quoted him as. And because I want to tap that ass.
Exactly. Suddenly I've got a huge thing for Linda Hamilton.
It would be strictly business, but I would not be wearing any pants.
From the table up would be completely business. What I would be doing under the table, we don't need to discuss. We're just going to be discussing business.
Whatever's happening down here, don't think about it. Up here, it's all business.
Right.
Down here, though,
Right.
especially below the wrist, don't think about it. Don't think about it.
I'm trying to keep the table from.
Oh wait, now Belushi has become Michael Caine. Well, I'm sorry, what are these middle manager clothing that they're giving him? Like, he lives in a house, he would be wealthier than all of the dictators put together.
Right. He's got a Van Heusen button-up shirt.
Yeah, and he's got a little middle class, mid-range Macy's off the peg shirt and tie combo.
Mm. I don't know if that's how it works.
She doesn't know how doors work.
You know? Well, this is the other personality, right? That didn't know how the doors work. Well, yeah.
Right. The dog just relieves itself. Just urinates all over him.
I was fine. I mean, he has no tag.
That would be about 100 pounds of dog right on you there.
The crotch.
110
Yeah.
pounds of dog.
Yeah, well, at least with the dog stepping on his crotch, he won't have to worry about doing anything obscene under the table because he
Right.
won't have the ability to anymore.
That's like a beige gray suit. It's
Yeah.
like if gray and beige had a child. It's grayish. It's grayish is what that suit is.
Well, because you could still, you'd have to really have a keen eye, and probably in 1990 with that film quality, you wouldn't catch that it wasn't actually beige if the script supervisor made a mistake.
They've just got you just go into a Belushi costume trailer and it's just 18 suits from cream over here all the way through the beiges and the taupes. Then you get a grayish, the middle beige gray combo, and then it slides down into gray before finally ending at charcoal gray. And it's the same costume trailer that follows him around every movie that he's in. And he denotes what shade of beige or shage that he will wear that scene, depending on what's going on. Of course, Bachner has a car phone. Oh, and of course, Bachner is boinking Russo.
Yeah.
Oh, no, maybe not.
Oh no, he's being a jerk off. I think.
Oh yeah, he's telling on his on the hubby.
Yeah.
Great
Monsieur.
mustachioed little extra actor guy.
I love that the French waiter wouldn't be able to pronounce Monsieur properly. Pizza and Burger Mammoth. Yeah.
It is. It's gray with like a beige check. It's such a weird. I think he just said the testicle source of a giraffe. I think that's what he just said in French. The testicle source of a giraffe.
I understand the French make it pretty good. No glass.
Of course, because they never would have been together because she never would have found him weeping in the locker room like a pillock, and she never would have given over some grotty old handkerchief with poop on it.
Exactly. Right.
Because that all happened after he missed the ball.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. He met her. Yeah. Try me.
Well, I have a friend called Clip. I mean, that's the first thing we have to unpack here.
Oh, that's ominous.
Look at the gray head extra in the background.
Yeah. Also, so he didn't tell Russo that he was going out to dinner with her,
No.
despite it being a business dinner that everybody else knew he was going to.
Right. Everyone else knew about it. Oh, and she's looking as well. Oh, it's the it's what? It's not a love triangle, it's a love square.
How did she
Because
not know about
Belushi
it?
went
She works there.
they went, oh, he's it's gonna be a love triangle, and Belushi went, no. Come on, that's been and done. Let's up the ante.
That's right.
It's a love square. So wait, there's another man involved? No. In fact, I want a scene where one of the three women kicks the man out of her life forever, opening the door for me. That was the other name for this movie. It was
Right,
Mr.
Love
Destiny or Love Square. It was
How does it not look good?
Belushi tears into haute cuisine. It's this kind of cutting edge comedy that we've come to know and love from Belushi.
And of course, the rock music tells us.
Belushi's like, yeah, let's get out of this hoity-toity joint and beat it on down to Mr. Pizza, because I'm a man of the earth
Right.
in my gauge suit.
Love those old cups. Those are great.
So, I mean, everything about this, I just need to break it down. He needs to be in a black t-shirt rather than whatever this is that he's wearing. And the hair needs to be a little bit more frazzled. There needs to be a Alsatian dog next to him.
Yeah. And the extra making pizza in the back is just fantastic too.
Yeah. Linda Hamilton needs to be in that jumpsuit with goggles. She looked so hot in that.
Yeah.
I do not like this big high and sweep back look.
No. So this is like 2 movies we've seen with her in it where she's played 2 different parts.
Yeah. Well, she's a versatile actress. What does the tattoo say? Just left of my vagina.
Oh. Oh, yeah, of course it's on the jukebox here.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd just comes across the camera, just like, but just across the camera, just once. And people are like, is that Dan Aykroyd? Hey, Jim, old buddy.
Oh, we got a montage.
Yes, this is the Belushi I want. I want montage Belushi.
His grayish suit.
This is all of the Belushi. This is like the multiverse of Belushi right here. This
Oh, the
is
hat.
genuinely
That's
touching. Like, I'm genuinely touched by this.
Yes.
See, this is good golf, Matt. This
Yes.
is the golf
This
that
is-
I approve of.
Right.
Right?
You know, they
The
set it up
slightly
like that.
racially insensitive, by today's standards,
Right.
golf, where he full on destroys property of the golf course. Yeah, I'm falling in love with him now. The lovable douche.
Of course, I mean, the juxtaposition with him actually golfing in this version
Right.
of it, this much more endearing.
But this is good. Like, this is why we love Belushi. This montage is why we love Belushi.
Yeah.
He's making so much out of very little, and it's kind of wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh,
She broke it.
okay. I'm so into this. I just want this montage to be the rest of the movie. I want this to be like Rocky IV from here on out, where every 3 seconds there's a montage.
It's like 45 minutes of montage. You've got to have at least another one where he's like working over the company.
Right. Yeah, it's all set to the like Motown and Stax music of the
Yes.
70s.
Yeah. You with your contract.
She's like, "No, but you could come in and I could urinate on you." Okay, wait. This went in a weird place.
Or actually, I could film Hercules urinating on you.
That's kind of my kink.
Right. I've got
And
a
then
whole
Michael
spec-
Caine shows up and goes, "The twist in this lifetime, Mr. Belushi, is that she's into golden showers and dogs. So you can either be happy here with this urinating dog thing, or you can go back to your original life,
It'd be like
where no dogs will piss on you."
like Belushi finds like a closet of just VHS tapes with different men's names on it, and then Michael Caine like appears right behind it. And he's like, "This is what you gotta look forward to in this lifetime."
She has literally videotaped 100 men being urinated on by a bloody dog.
This was the choice you made when you.
You made this choice, Belushi. You made the choice. Now you've got to bloody live in it. Oh, she's so verklempt over
Yeah.
Belushi. She's so upset. Good pause. She's the head of the union. Just tell the truth.
I know. Yeah, everybody knew you were going out to dinner with her. I don't understand this.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. His paisley robe looks like sperms. It's a sentence I just said.
He looked at it like the catalog, and it was like,
Yeah.
black with red sperm.
Yeah,
You
black with red.
Choice A.
Oh, black with red sperm. The title of Matt's new novel coming out. Did she throw him a beige suit? She threw him his beige suit because that's like Pepper Potts throwing Iron Man his iron suit. That's the equivalent. Because Belushi can't do any of his Belushi antics if he doesn't have a beige suit.
Now they're that rich, but they can't afford a non-rotary phone.
Yeah. I want to spin off with this guy. If we're gonna Fast and Furious this franchise, I want to spin off with this guy.
Yeah, this guy and Bachner. It'd be a great like buddy film. That's like
Bachner and Pops and what's Bachner's name in this movie? What's his
That's a good question.
character name?
Let's see.
Isn't he Potts or Pence or something?
Oh, Niles Pender.
Pender. So it's
Pender.
Pops and Pender is the show. That's the spin-off show.
Yeah, they're like trying to take down some evil city.
Yeah, they drive around in a motorbike and sidecar. Pop's in the sidecar with goggles and Ender on the bike.
Was he the owner?
Wouldn't he have more money than Belushi if he was the owner?
Right. Yeah, I don't understand how that works either. He's writing that in cursive. Oh, geez, what? They're playing his murder?
Wait, so Bachner's plan was to get Belushi kicked out by his wife,
Yeah.
so that they would take back to the office so that they could murder him.
Right.
This was Bachner's plan because he wants to do some deal with the Japanese.
Right. And somehow this is like all going to work.
Yeah.
He was going to get
Bachner,
$120
Bachner
million.
uses that in his show reel.
Right.
Just the crashing glass with Bachner's face behind it.
Oh, geez. So the Pops is going to find Bachner. This is where the
Pops
buddy
and
cop.
Pender, the buddy cops show you didn't care about at any point. Pops and Panda, sidecar and motorbike. Pops and Panda, riding through the land.
So is he
They
gonna
solve
FBI kill
crimes.
Pops? He killed
No!
Pops. He killed
No!
Pops.
They
Bachner
killed
killed
Pops? No way. Twist.
Oh, and so he's going to frame him.
Oh,
Yep.
I did not see this twist coming, man. It's
Oh,
a late last minute twisteroo.
Suddenly this thing just got out of control. The scriptwriter.
Sorry. That needed a sitcom harmonica moment. What were you saying? Yeah.
No, this script just suddenly got out of control. I don't know.
Ah.
How's Belushi going to be able to navigate the ridiculousness this script has suddenly become?
Yeah. How is Belushi going to navigate has become the depth of our discourse. Because how is he going to navigate? I can't believe Pops is dead. I'm so sad about that.
Yes, there goes
I'm
our spin-off.
so sad about that. He's also wearing something of a grayish jacket.
Yeah,
It's like beigey orange
Oh,
with gray squares on it.
I generally. That's always the smartest move, is to pick up the murder weapon.
Right.
Your fingerprints all over it. That's always a good idea.
So wait, he doesn't even own the company.
Right, he's the
He
president.
just works for the company.
Yeah. Oh, was that Courtney Cox? Yeah. He's gonna shoot him.
Okay, who picked that out? The costume lady was just like, look, if he's gonna wear fucking grayish suits the whole movie, she's gonna be dressed like a rainbow Barbie at a wake.
But I love that the best time to shoot somebody is when they're being arrested.
Right. Look at all these cops. She's just firing. I mean, this is so many felonies she's committing here.
Yeah.
Please tell me that Belushi like runs her over and this becomes like a fucking death orgy of violence and gore. I would love if this suddenly became a snuff film. Like we were just watching it. We were like, wait, Did Belushi just really kill Courtney Cox? And we're like, wait, are we watching a snuff movie? What happened to Mr. Destiny?
Yeah. Now he's
Then you
used your
suddenly
name now.
we suddenly Google it, and there's loads of articles on Reddit about, has anyone else seen this snuff film? Well, like, how did we not see this coming?
Uh-oh. You're just getting framed for murder.
We've got 2 people watching us on Twitch. I didn't even know we had viewers on Twitch.
Oh, no way. Nice.
Our Twitchers, our people out there in the Twitch massive. Put a comment in the chat.
I got a notification that we were on Twitch because I'm subscribed to After Movie Diner on there, but obviously,
Yeah.
there's no need for me to watch it because I'm already here.
See, I don't like this Linda Hamilton. She looks too much like Rod Stewart for my liking.
Oh, jeez.
Oh. Did you see
Oh,
that
that
ear
guy.
acting? Did you see the ear acting that Belushi just did? That was incredible.
This guy. I know. Look at this guy.
Was anyone ever so coiffed as this guy? Look at how coiffed his hair is. It's like a motorbike helmet of hair.
Yeah. And the face. I mean,
Yeah, I don't even know what's happening there. He looks like a lizard man. He looks like the kind of person you would cast as Lizard Man X in a movie about lizard men taking over quaint small town America.
he looks like he would be the red herring in a Belushi erotic thriller.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Well, you're getting a little erotic thriller Belushi here. Like, Hamilton's not concerned about the fact that her boss is seeing her in her negligee. She's not even covering up.
And I love how she's in her negligee and her boyfriend is fully clothed.
What's also funny is, wasn't she in the Beauty and the Beast series with what's his name, Ron Perlman?
Ron Perlman, yes,
And
right, yeah.
her hair in this scene makes her look like Ron Perlman's Beast in the TV series Beauty and the Beast,
Right, that's right.
which she also starred in.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yellow and blues and pinks go together. Like, the costume lady was like, well, her robe's going to be yellow, blue, and pink, so his shirt better be yellow, blue, and pink. Something's happening behind the scenes of this movie. The costumer was on crack or something.
Yeah, I wonder if they were nominated for. Ooh. Cops coming. Yeah.
Like, he runs in and her blonde lizard man husband's skin is like folded down over half his torso, and underneath his lizard body with like tentacles and stuff is like attempting to molest Linda Hamilton. And you suddenly go, wait a minute, this movie became a David Cronenberg nightmare. Now we have action Belushi. This is literally all of the Belushis. Is he going to kill a dog?
That's his
Is
dog.
he going to kill a dog?
That's his dog.
Okay, if this ends with him killing a dog,
No, he's going to peel out. He's got to peel out.
Oh, bad stunt guy. Bad stunt guy.
Yeah.
Belushi would never kill a dog. I trusted Belushi.
Yeah, if he saw that in the script, he would definitely. The fire hydrant should be exploding, though.
He's like, now, yeah, the fire hydrant should be. But we've had every Belushi, though. We've had classic car Belushi.
There it is. There's the
We've
fire.
had beige suit Belushi. We've had action Belushi. We've had comedy Belushi. We've had dramatic Belushi. We've got it's all shades of this movie is now all shades of Belushi. That's
Did
he hit the dog? Wait, no. Okay, if the dog like becomes Michael Caine, or like creepily the dog's bloody head twists round and goes, ha ha, fooled you. It's really me, Michael Caine, as a dead dog. Yes, because that's something that the cops would do.
I thought he missed the dog. I thought.
Oh wow, this movie killed a dog.
Yeah,
Mr. Destiny killed a dog. I did not expect it to get this dark, man.
Well, 'cause I guess what happens is when he goes back to his old life, the dog is back. Yeah. Oh, they say we have a follow. There's a follower only chat on Twitch. That's why people can't comment on there.
I can't respond. Dean, I was trying to respond, but it's only having me respond as Twitch, which is weird. But yes, I was just saying, really, that I didn't know that there was a setting like that. So I'll need to go in and change the setting. I had no idea it was follower only chat. Sorry about that, sir. I mean, you can always follow me, right? Don't you just follow me?
Yeah, I'm following.
I need to be a member for a month?
Oh,
Oh, I have no idea. Okay. Sorry, I have no idea what that means.
oh, that makes sense. Why? Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
awesome.
down with the Twitch waves like some of the children are. I'm only on Twitch as a courtesy to people who like the twitching ways. Oh, he's making the milk.
Instead of
He's
making
making the milk. Oh, he missed a bit of milk. No,
Michael Kidd's gonna show up and be like, that trick never works.
he's like, oh, I think that yellow stuff was piss.
That looks milkish.
That's probably Michael Caine's sperm. I see, Dean. Sorry. Yeah, I don't really know how Twitch works. I honestly don't. I just waded into it with all eyes open. Yeah, he kills a fucking dog in this movie. This movie got bleak.
Well, no, because so what happens is when he goes back to his old life, right? The dog's alive again.
Oh, scrabbly wabbly do.
Larry.
Destiny Bender. Nope, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Who wrote that line? That's not a thing that happens.
Yeah.
I have to say, this movie looks $1 million. You get
Yeah.
several shades of Belushi, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
All the women in it are really cute. There's some comedy. There's some sadness. There's some action sequences. This movie has a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And he kills a fucking dog.
But at least, so I guess what the deal is, right? It's his own dog. So now that he's
Right.
back to his old life, the dog's back again.
Right.
So he didn't really kill the dog, I guess. So we can, remember, might have been how they sold it to Belushi, so he could get away with it.
Yeah. So Dean in the chat asked, do you think Kane ranks this above Jaws the Revenge? I think he does. Having seen some of Kane's stinkier performances, I actually think that he does put a little effort in this. Not a lot of effort. I think he ranks it at about a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
But something like The Island or Jaws the Revenge, he's at a 2. You know what I mean? Or in The Hand, the Oliver Stone horror movie, he's like at a 4. Here he's at like a 6. So I think he actually does rank this above Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit-eating grin. Belushi's not even running.
Yeah. Classic 80s, 90s, the punch.
Yeah.
Southie.
Well, that is how America works.
Yes.
Oh, it'll be a surprise Belushi birthday,
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
and Kane will be there somehow. Oh, it's all the people he's ever loved in one room.
Yep. They didn't forget. How could they forget?
I have to say, this has some of the worst costumes in any film I've ever seen.
I mean, look at that
Everything
outfit.
else is wonderful, but this has the worst costume
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen. Ever in any film.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It's what happened.
What happened?
Not Dad. Come on. Yeah.
Yay, the dog's alive! Although at some
The
point he
human.
did kill that dog. Because if it doesn't matter what happens in an alternate timeline, then nothing that's happened in Marvel since the Avengers, blah blah blah, matters. Because,
Yeah.
but no, in Marvel, we have decided that your ethics are your ethics are your ethics, whether you whatever timeline you're in. So he fucking killed a dog, and I'll never forgive him. Nobody's ever embraced John Lovitz with such heft and gusto before. They've only ever walked away from John Lovitz, puffing loudly.
Yeah, I love the idea now that Jonathan Major.
Every time a bell rings, Belushi kills a dog. Oh, that is bleak. Oh, that's wonderful.
in another timeline, right? Another continuum.
Yeah.
I love the idea that now that Jonathan Majors has been fired from Marvel, of like Belushi being the next Kang. You know, just
Yes,
bring him in.
Belushi should be alternate timeline Kang.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. He does the whole thing in a bad Irish accent. Nobody can understand why. Ah, yeah.
How do you like that?
How do you like them apples, Belushi? All they had to do was punch someone. That's the story of this movie is just like all I had to do was not fuck my secretary and my coworker
And
and
a
punch
jerk
a
off.
dude in the face.
Yeah.
Violence solves everything.
I mean, I wonder now if you found a crypto bro and punched him, like if
Yeah.
suddenly like your whole
Yeah, someone comes around to my house and be like, Mr. Cross, we have all been wanting to punch Tad Hasselback or whatever his name is in the face. And you did it, and because you did it, here's $500,000 and all the MGBs you can fuck. And I'd be like, all right, I'll go out and punch it. Point at a fucking khaki pastel shirt wearing date rapist, and I'll punch him in the face. This guy, look at this guy.
oh,
Let me guess, he wasn't such a wiener about it for 30 years. He just decided to forget about it and move on because it's a fucking game and nobody cares.
exactly. Oh, Michael Caine.
Can you see my curly pube-like hair when it is backlit? Can you see how beautiful and curly it is? Look at it. Look at my puby head.
Have you ever tried Greco-Roman wrestling? Maybe baseball's not so good for you, but maybe we get some oil out and try it. I could show you a few tricks if you like.
I
Come on.
demand that people backlight my stupid puby hair. Wait. No, it's not in that key. Hang on. Oh, wait, is that in it? Okay, I'm gonna stop there.
I think this song
I
would have
just-
come out when Belushi was 5.
yeah,
So yeah, he would have been a huge fan of it in the car.
I just imagine what would Belushi do. Well, he would probably play harmonica to it, and
Yes,
so anyway, that was Mr. Destiny. Had nothing to do with the radio, because he's also in a movie, not to be confused with this one, called Destiny Turns on the Radio, with none other than homophobic Quentin Tarantino. Anyway, before I get a volley of complaints about that, it's the movie in which Quentin Tarantino does a sort of weirdly homophobic rant about Top Gun and its gay undertones.
Right.
Destiny Turns on the Radio. And when someone later on, I think recently asked Tarantino, who's such a flagrant ego narcissist, is ridiculous. But they asked him about that scene in Destiny Turns on the Radio, and instead of being like, "Oh, I know, it's so fucking embarrassing. Please never ask me that." Quentin Tarantino was like, "Yeah, well, let me tell you the story about like when me and my friend were hanging out at the video store. We used to take the piss out of Top Gun and say that everyone in it was gay. And then when I was in a movie, I decided to repeat that old shit I used to do when I was a teenager." And I'm like, "Really? That's you're
Right.
gonna tell people?" Like flat out, like yeah, when I was hanging out in the video store, we used to take the piss out of Top Gun for being a gay movie. And then when they asked me to ad lib a scene in Destiny Turns on the Radio, a movie no one has ever seen ever, except for this scene, I just take the shitty backroom video store teenage bullshit that I used to do with my friend and say it out loud, and everyone just goes, "What a fucking genius. Yeah, the gay undertones in fucking Top Gun." I'm like, "Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can someone, I I urge everyone to go and watch Reservoir Dogs again. I did again recently, and all this stuff, like in the future, when people would say to Tarantino, like, "Oh, you're racist," he could always say, "Well, I have Samuel L. Jackson in the movie, and Samuel L. Jackson says I'm not racist, and blah 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 blah." Right? Well, there's no Samuel L. Jackson in Reservoir Dogs. In fact, there's no ethnic characters in Reservoir Dogs whatsoever. He has a bunch of white guys sitting around for about 75% of the movie spouting either racial and or xenophobic statements. And there's no, like, you can't go, "Well, Samuel L. Jackson says I'm not racist." Like,
Right.
it's yeah, it's funny because I was always like the guy who would say, "Well, I liked True Romance, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, and the early ones, but then after that, I wasn't so much a fan." But actually, having gone back and watched those like mid 90s movies again, they do not hold up. But you know what holds up? Dog killing Jim Belushi. That's what holds up, Matt.
Yes.
Years and years later, I genuinely enjoyed that film.
I did as well. This kind of took me back. I will say quickly with Tarantino, the one thing I always will love is Jackie Brown, the scenes with Pam Grier and Robert Forster.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
It's like
He gave us that. That
Yeah,
does justify his existence. Yes.
yeah, exactly. But this, you're absolutely right. Like this was a movie that, like, I never saw. Oh, there's the Biltmore. There it is. Bruce Willis, the Biltmore. I it's another one. I mean, we haven't watched a bad Belushi film. Yeah, I mean, Separate Lives might be the closest.
Yeah, Separate Lives was the closest to being a dud.
Yeah, but I don't know how this movie would have been good without Belushi in the lead.
Right.
It's amazing, and again, it's amazing that this guy is who would become, according to Jim. Like when you
Right.
watch a movie like this, I mean, I guess the paycheck is what's important, right? Like, you can't fault him for the paycheck, according to
Right.
Jim. But yeah, this was not schlubby. I mean, there's some schlub factor in there, but I mean, it was an endearing movie. I mean, obviously, yes, I could have done without like the killing the dog in a different timeline. I think you're right about that. Even if the dog comes back to life in the new timeline,
Right.
we could have done without it. Like
Essentially, in the universe is one dog lighter.
right, exactly.
Because of this movie.
Right, exactly.
I'm in two minds about that. But I mean, seriously though, how many genres did this movie career through? From like the beginning of the film with the sort of 1930s, 1940s film noir credits,
Right.
where it's all dun dun dun, like it's going to be this sort of like black and white, overly dramatic soap opera thriller, murder mystery. Then it cuts to a really well shot, like it's a glossy Hollywood looking shot. It's beautifully shot. The cinematography is really great. The setting's really great. We got voiceover of Schlubby Belushi talking about his worst day and everything else and bemoaning stuff like that. And then he goes into Michael Caine's bar. We get a Caine cameo, and then from there we've got all sorts of we've got some issues touched on. They're touching on the union and paying workers fairly and dealing with stuff. We've got some comedy right there with Murray Shaken and John Lovitz and some, because Belushi's great when he's got a comedic genius to bounce off. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then we have action Belushi with him jumping his car. We have classic car Belushi. We have dog Belushi. We have dog lover and dog killer Belushi.
Right.
It's just a wonderful film. And we have a little blues and rhythm and blues on the soundtrack, which is always a little. This is peak Belushi. If you're going to put it next to Canine and Real Men, you're talking a classic, I think.
I think you're right. I think this has got to be up there with one of his best. I mean, and beyond that, we've got miniature golf Belushi. We've got
the montage was
can't eat at a French restaurant Belushi. Let me just get a beer without a glass. Because I don't understand the French restaurant. A brewski, right? Telling his butler he wants a brewski, and the butler has no idea what he's talking about. Like all that kind of stuff that you get in this film, and it's so endearing.
And I thought the sweetest of all the scenes was him painting the toy car.
Yeah.
And his wife coming in and saying, well, you have one downstairs. And him being like, no, they're all too big. That was genuine. I genuinely thought that was a beautiful sentiment because, in fact, if I can digress a little bit, I was on one of my VHS groups on Facebook earlier, and they're mostly full of scumbags. There's very few good people in that group of, which is sad, but it's true. It's a lot of people being like, "I've got a graded and sealed copy of in plastic with it's only ever been released 3 times in Vietnam and Chad and Botswana or whatever," and you're like, oh God, I would fucking kill this person with an axe. Meanwhile, I'm over here with my copy of Real Men being like, I'm just happy I own it. So it's mostly awful in this VHS group, so don't expect anything decent because people hate decency and positivity these days. They really do, Matt. They hate it. And I forgot where I was going with this. Where was I going with this? I was going somewhere. Right. This was it. Enjoying the finer things in life, or the smaller, quainter, tactile things in life. So I'm in this VHS group, blah 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 blah, and then there's the podcast that I also follow in there that had reposted that article that was posted about tape heads in California saving video stores and blah 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 blah. That's been going around the internet. There's been a whole article in the Times or something about the rise of the VHS collection and collector and the rise of video stores and reopening and things like that, right? And every single comment every single comment under this shared post was negative. It was all like, yeah, why would you want to watch film on an inferior format? And, it's not like vinyl where, you can say vinyl is sonically better, but VHS is actually technically worse and all this stuff. It was just a litany, Matt, of miserable bastards, right? It is the people who, in Belushi's eyes, well, we own all these cars for real and we zip them around, whatever. He's like, no, but I'm happy with this thing. Yeah. And I said about VHS, I said, anyone who says, by the way, and I want to go on record saying this, anyone who says they collect vinyl records because vinyl is sonically a better sound is so erroneously full of shit. I don't even know where to begin. Unless you are like a white begloved German audio scientist who has like a $5,000 stylus turntable and he has a pristine 30-gram vinyl from 50 years ago that's been kept in perspex in a museum vault for decades. Yes, in those scenarios, vinyl is technically a better sound. The reason why people collect vinyl is the fucking crackle. It's the crackle. They like the crackle. Yeah. Yes, we love the music and we love the larger box art and we like being able to read the liner notes without a magnifying glass and all that other stuff. We like lying on the floor and listening to vinyl, looking up at the sleeve and everything else. But what we like is the crackle. It's the crackle, Matt. It's got a fireplace warm thing. It's the toy car that Belushi is painting and is on the rug of his living room rather than driving a real one round the streets. It's the crackle. It's the fireplace. It's the congregation. It's the warm hug of nostalgia and tactile physical things. It's the sound when you put the VHS in the machine and you hear that.
Oh yes.
As the tray takes it, you hear the chunk as it goes down onto the heads. It's the having to adjust the tracking. It's knowing what tracking is and things like that. It's the fact that you can take it apart and put it back together and clean it, and it's manual and it has arms and things. It works as a physical thing. It's all about the texture. And then when you're watching it, when you're watching a VHS, it's all about the fact that the color is slightly faded and there's a little bit of fuzziness when there's a sex scene or whatever. Like, it's all about that. It means that people have rewound and paused and rewound and paused and rewound. But also, and I said this, I posted like a long rant and someone gave some sarcastic response like, too long, didn't read or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I put at the bottom and I said, the other thing is there are literally movies, Evil Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, whatever, House by a Cemetery, you name your like 70s horror of choice or early 80s horror of choice. And if you didn't see those films on a grubby water and mud soaked tape cassette that you found by a railway siding next to some old grandfather porn and a pile of cigarette butts, if you didn't find that VHS, wipe it off, put it in your machine after your parents went to bed, and at 2 a.m, see this crackly, distorted, chewing image of horrors you can't even imagine. If you didn't watch Evil Dead that way, you've not watched Evil Dead, period. If you've only seen Evil Dead in 4K crisp blue surround sound, blah, 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 you've never, ever, ever seen Evil Dead. You've never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You've never seen House by the Cemetery. You've never seen those films the way 95% of our generation saw them. There are a few lucky ones got to go to the cinema early on and see some of those classics. And obviously the older generation did as well. And they will bemoan the loss of film and cinemas using film projectors or 16mm or whatever. They'll mourn that in the way that we hold on to VHS, in the way that, I don't know, maybe this generation will hold on to TikTok. Like in the future when TikTok is finally got rid of, will people suddenly go, do you remember those times where we used to wear skin-tight leotards and go on social media and dance for the benefit of grubby old men thousands of miles away? Do you remember when we used to do that? And then people would call us influencers and send us free shit. Yeah. Do you remember? Oh, that was wonderful. But anyway, I'm serious about like I had to say to people who were, well, VHS inferior format and blah, blah, blah. And I go, and people condescendingly, well, I get that some movies haven't been upgraded to other platforms yet, but like, were they really worth saving? Blah, 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 blah. The last thing is that VHS is also still, out of everything, still an economic format to collect. Unless you're going to start collecting, hard to find horror stuff or whatever. But if you want like a quick guide to classic cinema, so you want everything from Wizard of Oz to Pretty Woman and everything in between, right? Just the benchmark movies, Casablanca and Top Gun and whatever your benchmark movies are. But if you just want to collect like the top 50 benchmark movies and watch them, there's no cheaper, better, easier way than like VHS at your local Goodwill or thrift store or flea market or whatever. And we could lose that would be a crushing shame to me, which is why I opened up a Be Kind movie vault in New Milford. But that was my rant to these snobs.
No, and I would say just that idea that like what movie is worth saving. I think any movie that has been made,
yes,
is worth saving. I mean, maybe Birth of a Nation, maybe you make a point about that, but I think for the most part, any movie that's been made,
there's historical context to that. But I know what you mean. Yeah,
but like I think like but especially like low budget, poor action, those genre movies. They were all the fact that so many of them you can only get on VHS, and then they've sort of been people have put them on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, for me,
well, what was the rom-com with Gerard Butler and Katherine Heigl in, like Battle of the Sexes or whatever it was called? What was
I
that?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not that's the one film I would say is not worth.
Okay, right, yeah, right.
Like if that went into a landfill tomorrow,
right,
we'd all be fine with that. Yeah,
but
no, Attack of the Redneck Hooker Zombies with Chainsaws that needs to be preserved.
Exactly,
100%. Yeah.
I mean, you're right about the VHS piece in that sense that, like, I think. Growing up with the VCR, especially when it started to become more prevalent in the late 80s, early 90s, once movies became cheap enough that you could go out and get one for $20 or something like that, it really changed everything going into the 80s into the 90s. That it was like so many movies, you're right. Like, I don't, because especially like there's so many movies in the theater, like a Mr. Destiny would have been in the theater, but it also would have been the kind of movie, like I don't remember seeing it, but that like my family might have rented on a Friday night, that we're all going to watch Mr. Destiny, or like HBO has it and somebody taped it off of HBO or something like that, So
we're all going to watch Jim Belushi.
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah. But you're right from like that whole thing. I mean, I always, for me, I when DVDs came around, I was like, okay, I've had it with VHS. DVDs are fine, but I think now that I'm older, you're right. There is that nostalgia. I mean, I remember for us it was Bad Taste, the Peter Jackson movie.
Oh yeah,
And I mean that was one that we would, we ended up making our own copy of it, and my friend discovered it one time. We wanted to watch bad movies and make fun of them, and we watched Bad Taste and realized we weren't making fun of it anymore, that we were just enjoying it, that we were just, this is amazing. And we rented it so much that we decided to just rent our own VCR and make our own copy of it, because now you get the DVD of it, because now Peter Jackson is an Oscar-winning director, and he's big deal, and now there's a DVD available of it. But there really isn't anything like when we went to the video store and on the back it said your VCR will cry out for windshield wipers. Like the DVDs don't have those reviews on it. It's like that was a special thing. And so you're absolutely right. Like it's
and don't get me wrong. I mean, I like DVD and Blu-ray and 4K and whatever. I mean, I'm just saying the last thing, like when there's a million articles a day about how shitty everything is, and then there's one article where it's like, oh, some people who still like VHS have a store in California, and a few other people have now got stores. The response to that, when every other article is shitty, should not be, well, I just think VHS.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah.
No,
like that's not the response. Even I don't care what you think. If you don't like VHS, guess what? The world was made for you, because the studios don't like VHS. The stores don't like VHS. If you don't like VHS, that's the world. The whole world is yours, because nobody out in the world likes physical media. The people who like physical media, like me, we have a very, very small section of the world, a tiny, tiny, tiny section of the world. Don't take that from us as well. Don't be like, well, no, you're not allowed that. Sorry, wait. You know, a couple of hundred people were interested in buying and selling VHS on eBay. Nope, can't have that. Shut it down. You know, like, what's going on with the world, man?
It is amazing how many people like read nice articles and have to say something bad about it. I mean, I read this article today about here in Philadelphia because we have a lot of row houses, and how with the whole gentrification thing, they'll take like one house in the row house and try to rebuild it, and it while they're rebuilding it, the other houses fall down near it.
Right.
So it's like you're living in this house. You've been in this house. It's like generations. You know, your father sold it to you for $1, so it would stay in the family. And you're sitting there, and you start to notice that the wall next to you is falling away because So that's an article that I'm reading, and it's like horrible that all these people in Philadelphia have their houses are literally falling apart.
Yeah.
And then somebody writes an article about people like that are into VHS and are opening stores and trying to, and people have to shit on that when it's like, this is nice. This is the nice thing. This is the good one.
Nice thing. Yes.
Right.
A few people who have made it to their 40s with still an ounce of hope have set up very, very small venues where other people with just a minuscule amount of hope could possibly congregate and maybe talk about a favorite film of theirs.
Right.
Tiny, tiny amounts of people in the grand scheme of things. And you're just like, no, we can't have that. We can't have even these people whose lives are so, reduced to just, it's remarkable that it doesn't matter wherever I am, the walls, I think reasonably sane viewpoint of the world is, or my hopefully positive and embracement of most good things in the world, that's become such a narrow outlet now for some reason.
It's
I don't think
amazing.
any of the words I just said made any sense.
I do wonder though, I'm just trying to think of like what your day is like if you're a person who's like, I'm going to find all of the nice articles and shit on them. Like that's just, I'm going to look like, oh, there's one right there. I got to grab that one. And I got to comment on that one.
Right. I mean, because how is it that they're shit on? Is it because everything else is shitty that they're just like, well, I'm just going to keep shitting on things?
Right.
Or is it that the rest of their lives, because me looking at them, the world is built for them. The world is not built for me.
Right.
The world is built for them. There's little bits of the world that are built for me. There's little bits that I can kind of go, oh, I like that little bit and I like that little bit. And I can kind of form my own little corner of the world, whether it's the internet or whether it's my home or whatever. So I'm not complaining. There's enough of the world for me. I don't need more of the world. But in general, the populace, the corporate, the whatever you want to call it, world that is out there that we have to engage with on a daily basis, it's not made for me, right? It's not made in my image or how I would make anything. And yet, so these people, in my estimation, go around in a relatively euphoric place. They don't like VHS. The world doesn't like VHS. They don't like anything made before 10 years ago. The world isn't interested with anything made not 10 years ago, unless it's something that they can remake, recycle, reboot, or, then they're interested in that because it's cheap for them. But yet so is it that they're just, everything is so perfect around them that they're like, the one thing I can shit on? Or is it that everything is so terrible around them that they just continually shit? I don't know what it is. But as someone who has had to, as I say, put my own little cherry-picked life together and just fill it with all the things that make me happy, I suggest you go away and do that, Mr. Misery Fuck, because you live in this dream of your own making, and yet you're unhappy. I find my groove in the huge vinyl record of the world, and I'm happy. You take your pick what you want to do, man. So that's how I think of life.
Dean said here, sell it for profit, which I was listening to a podcast today called Behind the Bastards where they were talking about like Aaron Schwartz, kind of more like a positive thing. But they talked about how the guy who invented the World Wide Web didn't patent it because he wanted everybody to be able to use it and share it equally.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of the idea, because I always have that idea that like if you're a billionaire, you had to have screwed over a lot of people to be a billionaire.
Yes.
In fact, you probably killed people. You probably led to people dying in certain ways to become a billionaire. And I think that's proof, because this guy could have been a billionaire. He could have said, okay, yeah, the World Wide Web, I'm going to patent this, and only people with enough money can use the World Wide Web. If they pay me, companies can pay me to put things on the World Wide Web. But he said, no.
He could have been like Tom at MySpace.
Exactly. Right. But he could be Elon Musk. He could have been like, you know what, this World Wide Web thing, it's going to give me my own penis rocket that I can shoot into space and go to Mars.
I love that the guy that is ultimately going to, I love that the two guys that are ultimately going to end the world are called Donald Trump, which is the stupidest name on record, and Elon Musk, who is an even stupider. It's like someone named a kid Donald Trump, which in England just sounds to us like, Donny Farts, right? So you have Donald Trump, and then you have Elon Musk. They are it's almost like someone went, well, we can't come up with a stupider name than Donald Trump, and someone went, wait, hold my beer, went away, and Elon Musk's children shit out Elon Musk.
Right.
And then they both became just these unbearable. They're like the guests at the party that you wish you didn't have to invite, who then show up and stay much later than every other guest at the party.
Yeah.
I don't care about politics. I don't care about corporate versus whatever. I don't care about the space race. I don't care about any of it. I'm not trying to but they're just so awful as human beings. They're just to look at them. I mean, you just want to hit them about the head and neck with a cricket bat. That's how I feel, Matt. It's not politics, dude. I mean, yes, everything he stands for is abhorrent fascism, that's horribly manipulating his own base. By this is the other thing I want to say about like the people who are like genuine Trump fans. Like, he hates you. He really fucking hates you. Right. He has no love for you whatsoever. Right. He just needs your numbers. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about your family. He laughs at you behind your back.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He sits around with his rich friends, quaffing caviar and eating goose and slapping their maids and servants like old fucking robber baron slave owners. And you go back to whatever house you happen to have scraped together that you're going to be paying off till long after you die, and are having worked your third fucking job. He doesn't like you. He doesn't care about you. He fucking hates you.
What he needs is your $15 a month. Right. And actually, he's going to keep pushing you for more than 15. He wants 30, 50, whatever it is.
Right.
He wants you to show up at his rally so he can see you in the crowd and have you cheer for him and tell him how great he is.
He wants to sell you T-shirts you can't afford that have his face on it.
T-shirts, NFTs, anything. Just buy it. Just pay. I mean, The Onion had this really great joke because he had like a judgment rendered against him or something like that, and they were like, new bill that Trump needs his supporters to pay or something like that. It's
right.
Like, yeah. But I mean, at Musk, I listened to this podcast called Knowledge.
Musk is a Bond villain. I mean, Musk is fucking Drax in Moonraker. Yes, that is who Musk is. Anyway, sorry, Karen.
No, but it is. It's absolutely amazing. But the thing is, he's not a Bond villain because like a Bond villain is much more sophisticated than he is. Like when you actually listen to him talk or you see him on like Twitter saying things, talking about like Vox Populi and stuff like that, like he thinks he's a Bond villain. But in fact, like Roger Moore would be like, I can't act opposite this guy. Like, get me a better actor. Get me Donald Pleasance. Get me somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I don't seem to understand. Sean Connery got Donald Pleasance, and I've got this fucking asshole. Although he did get Christopher Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Moore got to go up against Christopher Lee, which is a classic.
Christopher. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Christopher Lee is a legitimate Bond. I mean, but
and Elon Musk, Goto, of course, in Live and Let Die.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk is actually what a Bond villain really would be. It's just like in a movie, right? That you either make them like much nicer,
No, he's watched Moonraker and gone, I want to be Drax.
Right.
So he's sort of the wannabe Drax rather than the actual Drax.
Right.
That's what Elon Musk is. That's how I would
Right.
insult. If I met Elon Musk, I would insult him by saying, you are the wannabe Drax.
Right.
And when he went, I'm sorry, I don't understand your pop culture reference, I'd be like, you are a cock and everybody hates you.
Right.
Walk away.
Yeah, it is absolutely
And then he'd have me killed.
Right. Well, the one genius thing about Musk, what he has done that I think is genius, is the way he's taken Twitter and he said, okay,
Ruined it.
Right, I'm going to get rid of the blue check mark. And then you've got to pay $8 to get the blue check mark.
Yeah.
And essentially, he's got now an entire list of thousands of, if that's how, of morons that are dumb enough to give him that $8 a month. So now he's going to be like, here's some other stuff that I want you to buy. And, he's talking about doing Twitter banking. And he's, and I was like, who's going to want to do their banking with Musk? I was like, oh, wait a second. He's got a whole list of morons that are dumb enough to do their banking with him.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no. This is the thing, is whenever you peel back the facade of these people, they are hucksters and snake oil salesmen of the highest order. Right. Not one of them would know how to fucking change a tire on a car or fucking raise a puppy or cook a meal. Like, none of them have any fucking idea how to exist other than who can I shank for a few more grubby coins.
Right.
Speaking of which, go over to our Patreon now.
Right. When YouTube, I don't know if YouTube.
I gotta get some of those Benjamins, some of those Musk coins, some Doge coins. Right. Oh, you fucking cock.
Right. Oh. Yeah.
I like that the company name that Musk has always wanted to use is the same letter that John Belushi scrawls as his signature in the Blues Brothers. Yes. That's literally meant to say, I'm illiterate. That's literally what that joke is. That Jake Blues is illiterate and therefore signs his name with a large cross. And since Musk was 5, he's been like, I'm going to call the company X. And his, blood diamond hoarding parents were just like, sure, whatever you want, son. And he's finally take over the one thing that everyone kind of hated anyway, but really needed that last extra shove to get rid of.
Yeah.
And he just showed up and went, I'm going to call this X. And I was just like, oh, all right, that's enough.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. I'm off.
Right.
What do you mean you're going to call it X, you pillock?
Well, because essentially what he did is he essentially, like, for example, like if the, Band-Aid here in the United States or Frigidaire, essentially he just took Frigidaire and said, okay, you're not going to be called refrigerator. You're going to be called X. And nobody's going to know that you're necessarily associated. It's like, because Twitter and tweeting, like that was, it was,
right.
And now it's just because you're not Xing, right? You've got a post now instead. And it's like, it's from a business standpoint, it's
the dumbest fucking idea ever in the history of ideas.
Right.
It is a catastrophically stupid idea. In fact, it would, if he didn't have such stored legacy, familial wealth, and if he hadn't have made a few good business decisions and bought a few decent companies, that he, by the way, had nothing to do with setting up whatsoever. My only hope would be that this Twitter debacle that's going to go bankrupt and probably stop being a viable company at a certain point. I really wish that would just take him down, because it would be such a gloriously silly nail in an otherwise, shiny and obnoxiously large cock-shaped coffin. But unfortunately, he could probably afford to lose 5 switches and still,
I think that's the idea, right? Because it's like, let's just run this thing into the ground, so now it can't be, a way for disaffected people to use it to come together and talk about things. And so, being banned, Twitter being banned in the EU is probably, probably coming soon. But I think that's by design. I think he's doing that up, because he can afford to, like you said, he can afford to run it into the ground. I mean,
I want to, talking about running things into the ground, I want to do this show so long, Matt, that when Elon Musk's military police hordes come to drag me from my computer because we've become persona non grata in the Musk dictatorship, where he has any dissenters locked up in a world without Wi-Fi or pants or whatever it is. He'll probably have me killed with his sharks or something that he'll have in some giant underwater lair that he's had built. Anyway, I want to, like, as I'm on camera, I want, like, the Terry Gilliam Brazil style military police from the beginning with the head to toe Kevlar and the batons and the whatever. I want them to grab me and drag me from my chair, and I hang on to dear life. And the last word I say before I'm literally like yanked from the thing and then pulled through the room behind me and gone forever is the word Belushi. That's my last not very well known at all podcaster John Cross was arrested today in a dramatic scene on Twitch, whatever the fuck that is, because in the future people don't really use Twitch. We're like the only ones left on Twitch. It's just like it's like you and me, a couple of people playing Magic the Gathering, and someone else playing synthwave music.
It was like me staying on Talk Shoe forever with my podcast when I finally.
John Cross, blah, 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 wrote on Twitch. Whatever the fuck that was. His last words were Belushi. Historians believe this is in reference to a dynasty that cropped up in the late 1970s of old what was North America. And it proceeds to go on and like tell some dramatic story about who Belushi is. And then it just cuts back and goes, despite the name of the show being Middle-Aged Men Watch 90s Era Jim Belushi, none of us here in the future have any idea why he would have said that. That'll be my epitaph, Matt.
I remember going to see Brazil in this theater, this indie theater in Portsmouth. And when that scene happens, there are these two women sitting behind my buddy and I, and one goes to the other one, boy, it's very Kafka-esque. And my buddy just loved that. And he started calling everything Kafka-esque. My buddy Petrosky. Yeah. But I could just see like you being dragged off like that and somebody watching the Twitch thing and being like, oh boy, this is very Kafka-esque.
Yeah. That was very Kafka-esque. Clutches her. She's like an old Monty Python like woman. She just like clutches her hand back and shuffles off. And then a penguin explodes or something. I'm like, this got weird.
Right.
And then it just cuts and then it goes really weird. It goes all fuzzy and grainy like an old VHS, and it's just a really graphic snuff shot of Belushi running over and then backing up over a dog in repeat while he just looks out the side window of the car like this. And it's just that. And then the movie ends. As this stream must now do. It's 10 to 1 in the morning. Oh, this is the best show on earth. If people had watched the whole 4 hours of it, they would really be getting something out of it.
Yeah. We're getting they're getting like longer. Each one is getting slightly longer, I think.
I'm happy about that though.
Yeah, we were 3.5 last time, 3 the time. Yeah, so
I still haven't uploaded any of them. I'm just adding to ones that I have to now edit.
Well, I think the last one is still on YouTube because it was a YouTube movie. So
yeah.
I don't think YouTube took it down. So
no. Well, let's hope they don't take any of them down.
Yeah. Well, they took the second one down. They took Separate Lives down.
Yeah.
But
I can re-upload it as a podcast. So
yeah. Yeah. So we still got that.
You just won't see the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Matt,
yes,
this has been a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much for this.
Same.
And Merry Christmas to you and yours. I hope you have a wonderful time and get everything you need.
Absolutely, same as well. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Have a good time in Asheville at the Biltmore, and
I will do.
Yeah, seeing a piece of Belushi.
Yes. And they're still in the basement The door is still wide open, but they don't know it yet. And him and his schlubby neighbor are shivering on the floor in rags.
And Twinkie wrappers all over them.
And we just fade. Oh, we are two middle-aged men watching 90s era Jim Belushi films. Two middle-aged men watching 90s era Jim Belushi films. Two middle-aged men watching 90s era Jim Belushi films. And you can watch along with us. Oh yeah, you've been watching along with us. Oh yeah. Or maybe you've been listening somewhere where it's glistening. You just got the podcast version. You've not seen the film, but you have listened along with us. Oh dear. You have spent your time with us. Just finish already.